Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Hope you're having a fantastic day, and welcome to our world here, our home studio, broadcasting live worldwide on the Jim Masters Show Live, which is a fun, cool place to be every night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, because we sort of try to lighten the load. We try to put a smile on your face. We inform, we entertain, we educate, and we have a lot of levity, or lovity as we call it here on the show. I am your host, Jim Masters. And again, we broadcast every single night live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And we simulcast on YouTube and on Facebook. We're also right now on Periscope, broadcasting live as well. So we welcome everybody on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope and Twitch, everywhere else. Good to have you with us today. How's your day going? You guys doing well today? We had a really, really busy day. I had some professional work that I did, some television work today. My professional work, television, radio host, multimedia journalist, actor, writer, producer, voiceover artist, stage MC, and narrator, and all that kind of cool stuff. So we created this show. If you're watching for the first time, we created this show, which is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series. We created this 17 weeks ago, and we've done shows every single night since like May. Only maybe 2 or 3 nights we didn't do a show. One, we were celebrating on a Sunday with family, a special occasion. And then last week we had that crazy storm that came through that knocked out power and internet. And that's pretty much the only time that was Thursday and Friday of all these shows. We've done about 120 shows, I think it is now. Got to keep track. Got to look back in my own archives on YouTube to check out all the different episodes. And if you want to see different episodes here on the show, well, all you have to do is go to YouTube at Jim Masters TV, and all of the episodes are there, all the archives, all the episodes, all the levity, the education, the information. This show is really something for everybody. It's not the same old, same old. You can watch the show every single night, and a lot of people do, and we have a lot of faithful around the world, and we love you all. Lots of levity to all of our levities. Everybody that watches this show is considered a levity. Here's how that happened. It was by mistake. I was saying that the show is, positive, inspirational, fun. We have a good time. We have phenomenal, incredible guests from television and film and Hollywood, Broadway, music, comedy, sports, food, as well as we have host chat. And we do pop-up shows. And this show is really something for everybody. We've gone on location as well. We've done on-location shows, too. A lot of cool stuff as an entertainment lifestyle talk show series, patterned like a television show, using some of my TV background. And I was saying light, love, and levity, and slipped up, and we came up with the word levity. Everybody fell in love with the word levity, so that's what we use now. And then the viewers who watch from around the world said, you know what? We're going to call ourselves levities. So everybody that's a viewer is a levity. Everybody who pops on as a guest, the viewers have said they are now levities. I wasn't the one who said that. The viewers, these faithful, loyal viewers, you guys watching right now, are the ones who said the guests are part of Levity Hall. I think it was Danilo in San Diego that came up with Levity Hall. I came up with the levity, then you guys said levities, and then Danilo said Levity Hall. So that's what it's all about. And we're so excited to have you guys here today. Busy day on this end, really, really cool day, getting a lot of stuff done professionally. And then we also worked on preparing all the shows for this week. We've got a very, very busy week of shows. We've got an amazing guest today. We're going to have lots of fun today. It's time to put some smiles on your face, something we could all use lately. Well, the craziness has been going on in all of our lives around the world. We're going to have some levity, lots of laughs. We've got a phenomenal comedian, stand-up comedian, as well as voice actor and so much more, writer, Jason Hewitt. He is here to put some smiles on your faces. But in addition to the comedy, there's a story behind it all. There's a story behind all the comedy. Actually, a very moving and inspiring story about his life that he's going to share with us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. He's all excited. We've been chatting back and forth, getting prepared the last couple of days for the show. And we're really looking forward to welcoming him in just a second. Just want to let you know as well, tomorrow we have Sam Quasman on. He is a he's an iconic actor, voiceover actor. He's provided voices for so many characters, Tom and Jerry, Donald Duck, and so many others. And he's going to be here tomorrow night. And then award-winning violinist. I mean, he does blues, he does rock, he does jazz, he does pop, he does country, he does everything. Violinist Alex Dupuis is going to be here on Thursday, and he's going to play live for us. It's going to be really, really cool. Then we have veteran actor and producer and writer from Hollywood, Bill Foster, is going to be here on Friday. And then actually a dear friend of mine who's a legend in the music industry, Pepe Castro, is going to be here on Saturday night. That's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of incredible stories. He's worked with everybody you can think of in the music industry. He's also a singer, songwriter, and musician. And so many legends have sung the songs he has penned. He's here Saturday Night Live. We were just chatting earlier today. And then Paul Byram, originally from Celtic Thunder and his solo career, he's going to be here this Sunday. So we had a busy day getting all those shows ready. Plus, I had some other professional work to do as well in my career. So hope you guys are doing well. As always, as you know, here on the Jim Master Show Live, we like to be classy, and we toast our viewers. We toast all of you, you and you and you and you. Hope you guys are doing well around the world, wherever you are watching. And we have a little bit of an intro. I know the intro takes a little bit of time here. I have to tighten up our intro, but everybody loves it. You love the characters. There's George Burns, and George says hello. George greets all of you. He says hello to you and you and you. Again, he's the official commemorative birthday, 100th birthday of George Burns doll that my aunt collected and got passed down to me, and we're so grateful. So he's there with his cigar and his smile. He's here every night because the viewers, the ones who are commenting already from around the world, everybody saying hello, everybody welcoming everybody, they want these characters on the show. So you know what? This is our show. If you want characters to put smiles in your face, then that's what we're going to do, right? Who's going to tell us not to? It's the Jim Master Show Live, and I'm Jim Masters. Here you go, guys. I know you look for the I, Jim and Jeannie bottle, and Jeannie's in there, and she says hello, and she puts a smile on your face as well. And I should really have somebody, a couple of people handing these things to me, shouldn't I? Because if I ever have a spasm, boom, if you hear a boom, you'll know what happened. Got to maneuver everything around gingerly. And there is Silver, the Silver Lab we got on a television shoot while we were in Europe. We had a really cool time, and we saw him. You know, was it Patty Page? Who's the one that sang, "How much is that doggy in the window?" Well, this doggy was in the window and came back to America. And it's really cool. You know, these are things around the house, and we use them on the show. Silver didn't know he was going to be one of the cast of characters, but he sure is, and he's looking at you. Here's looking at you. How much is that doggy in the window? Well, in Switzerland, it was a few bucks, and he made it home safe and sound in the luggage, which was amazing, because he could have just been a million pieces, I tell you. And then we've got another cast member here, your friend Jimmy, right? There you go. Put some smiles on your face. Hello from Jimmy. Jimmy the Clown is here. He greets all of you. He says hello. He's here every night. And this was a childhood toy. It's all made of porcelain, too, which is really cool. I haven't seen anything like this since. But my favorite color is green, too. This came from my parents. So Jimmy's going to hang out below here with Silver. George, of course, as always, has his eye on Jeannie. And then there's one last one that is new. As far as our cast members here, again, you know, every host has their cast members. They have their cohorts, they have their colleagues, their co-hosts, or whatever it may be. Johnny had, of course, Ed McMahon, Regis, and Kathy Lee, and they did their whole 20 minutes of chatter beforehand that everybody loved. So this is our chatter. This is me, your host, welcoming you to our show, having some fun. And then in just a second, we'll welcome our fantastic guest who's going to make you laugh. He's a cool guy, and he's excited to be here. Yes, Bob Denver. Gilligan. Gilligan is here. And this is by way of Bob Denver's wife, Dreama Denver, who was a guest on our show. Aloha, Jim, Dreama Denver. There it is. She sent this along. If you're just joining us recently, she sent this along as a very special gift. We had a wonderful conversation. You can see it on the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where we archive every episode of our series. And it was really awesome what she did. She sent this along as a gift. A special box arrived last week. We ripped it open, and inside was Gilligan. He's smiling at you. It's really cool, huh? And it's a bobblehead. So again, if you're a TV buff, and I pretty much am, this is a cool thing to have as part of our set. What happened was she saw all these other characters here, cast members, and she said, you know what, Jim, you're missing something. I'm like, oh my God, with everything we have around here in this home studio, what the heck could we be possibly missing? She says, I'm going to send you something, and it's going to be something that I hope we'll see on set. And it was Gilligan. So that's really cool she did that. So how's everybody doing today? We are here to lighten the load. We're live right now, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're here every single night, which is an unbelievable undertaking to be live every night. Most people do a show once in a while, once a week, twice. We do it every night, and we've been doing that consistently since May. Unbelievable. We're going to welcome the viewers who are tuned in right now, and then other viewers tend to pop in later. Some people watch this when it's saved on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. I mean, the views on that channel are incredible. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, we would love that, as we're building that channel with a lot of really cool content and surprises and a lot of stuff we have in store. As well, we have a lot of cool things in store with this show that I can't say yet, but there's some things we're doing with my TV background that's happening with the show. So very cool. We're putting a lot of hard work into it. You guys are here. Kathy's here from Cleveland. Kathy Short. That's right. And it's so great to have you here from beautiful Cleveland. I was in Cleveland, it was about a year ago. That's when we went to the Christmas Story house that they used for a Christmas Story, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was actually on a television shoot for a news program interview, but it was cool. Cleveland's a cool city. It was sort of fall, so it was a little cold, late fall, but it was really cool. Happy Tuesday for Sharon DeMaria watching in Connecticut. Crystal is also in the Constitution State. Hi, Jim and everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to a show full of laughter. Yes, Jason knows that. He knows you want smiles on your face. You know, you need somebody like Jason. Now more than ever, I'm sure he's been called upon often to put smiles on people's faces, including his own, to get through all of this. Because a lot of venues are closed and everything. So he's here to put smiles on our faces as well. And we're so excited to have him here. Great conversation as well. Yeah, it's going to be a very inspiring conversation. And it seems like we have a lot of that with our guests. They feel so warmly welcomed and comfortable, they say, and the conversation just rolls. Hi, Jimbo from Christopher Joseph. Hey, Christopher Joseph, do you know something? I have to tell you something, and I and the viewers watching know this, but you obviously don't know it because you didn't stick with the whole show last night. Did you know that you were announced Viewer of the Week last night? You, Christopher Joseph, in Ohio, were named this week's Viewer of the Week on the Jim Masters Show Live. That's right, Linda Odell. She passed the baton to you last night. We weren't sure if you received it because maybe you ducked out. You're the Viewer of the Week. That's right. You could have had last night too. So congratulations, Christopher, since you're there. We see you there. Congratulations to Christopher. We like to celebrate our viewers around the world who watch this show and tag and share and have a lot of good times with us. So Christopher Joseph, you were announced as Viewer of the Week last night. Pretty cool. Celebrate. Tell everybody in Ohio and elsewhere you are the Viewer of the Week on the Jim Masters Show Live. Happy Tuesday, Lovities from Kathy in Cleveland. Love that. Ernestine Webb in North Carolina. Hi, Jim. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. You got it. Absolutely. Everybody's doing well. Good to see you in North Carolina. Hope you're having good weather there. I know there's been a lot of storms lately. Everywhere you go, tons of storms. Good evening, everyone, from Ann Wozniak. Good to see you, Ann. We welcome you as well. And you're in Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville, Florida. And so, Christopher, you're the Viewer of the Week. Congratulations to you. You got all the congratulations last night, but I don't know if you saw it. Everybody wished you well. Hi, Jim. Hi, Kathleen in New York City, our Queen of Queens. Good to see you in the city. Hope you're doing well tonight. Welcome to the show. We've got a big show in store for you tonight, live worldwide. Renee watching in Iowa. Good to see you in Iowa as well, Renee. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. And hope things are calmed down there. I know you had that ratio or whatever they call it. I studied weather too. I was a weatherman for a while. Ratio. I've heard 15 different ways to pronounce that inland hurricane that you guys had in Iowa that caused all that destruction. Derecho. I've heard whatever you call it because you're the one that experienced it. So whatever you call it, that's what we're going to call it. Hope you're doing well, Renee. Avril is watching in Hampshire, United Kingdom, over across the big pond there. Good to see you, Avril. Welcome to the Jim Master Show live. Hi, Jim. Happy Tuesday. Sending warm hugs from us in Hampshire, United Kingdom. GB, Great Britain. You got it. Absolutely. And Sherry is here. Hello, Jim, and all the lovities. Good to see you as well, Sherry. Welcome to the show. It's always great when you are here. We love having you here as well. Hope you're having a good day. Hello, Jim and everyone from Mary Bishop. Good to see you, Mary, as well. Really cool to see you here on the show. And Christine, happy birthday month of September to you, Jim. Hi to the lovelies. Thank you very much, Christine. I appreciate that. That's really, really cool of you. September 24th, and we've got the Voices of Classic Soul going to be our special guest live. They are members of the Temptations, Platters, Four Tops, and Drifters. They're going to be here on September 24th live for an amazing show, which happens to be on my birthday, which is really, really cool. Can't wait to see Alex Depew on the show Thursday, the amazing violinist. He's really, really cool, and he's very talented. And we were just chatting today, getting ready for the show. He's going to be here Thursday. Crystal is cheering. Everybody cheers when I toast. So everybody toasts and cheers everybody, which is great. Jennifer Barry is here as well. Hey, Christopher, did it click in yet? There you go. Thank you very much for with this trembling in my heart. I can't find another thing to say, but thank you for this honor. Well, call WJR in Detroit again and tell them that you're the viewer of the week on the Jim Master Show live, and I bet WJR Radio in Detroit will announce it. And everybody's saying congratulations. Thea is here from Australia. Good day. It's morning for you there in Australia, and I think you're coming out of winter now too, right? Good to see you. Good morning to you watching in Australia. Thea, we welcome you to the show. Marcia in Massachusetts. Good evening, Jim. Welcome to you, my friend Marcia. Jennifer Roberts is here. Hello, Jennifer. Welcoming you as well. Nice to see you. Cool stuff. All right. Good evening, Ralph in Indiana. Nice to see you. Ann says, I love your intros. Oh, that's terrific. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We work hard on all the production value here, from the set all the way to the intros. We try to do everything we can here. Hope you guys are doing well. Hello, Jim and fellow lovelies. Hope you're well. Julie W. Nice to see you, Julie, as well. Irena, welcome to the show. Good to see you here. Nice to see you once again on the Jim Master Show live. Lovity. Live Lovity is what it is, Irena, and it's good to see you. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. And yes, Patty Page. How much is that doggy in the window? In honor of Silver, who's down there playing with Jimmy. Erica is here. Hi from Georgia. Good to have you with us watching in Georgia. Nice to see you here. I hope things are well. I know pretty hot down there probably right now. Everybody's saying congratulations to Christopher. He's all excited that he's viewer of the week. Yeah, we announced that last night. Cool stuff. All these great folks tuning in here from all around the world. We always like to greet whenever we can all of our, I will tell Paul W. Smith on WJR in Detroit immediately. That's fantastic. Full moon tomorrow night. You can't wait. Oh, that's going to be cool. We'll see what happens, right? Full moon, anything can happen. Great to see you as well. And Sherry saying to congratulations from another Ohioan that's celebrating Christopher Joseph. That's really cool. And Elaine is here. Hello from the great state of Delaware. Good to see you as well from Delaware. We welcome you. And Crystal says congratulations to Christopher as well. So lots of great comments. We'll continue. Feel free to comment. Feel free to share the lovity. You still can tag this. You can let folks know that we're on live right now. We welcome everybody again watching on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, Itch, you know, just about everything. There's so many things out there these days, and we're on just about all of it. But the main thing is YouTube, really, because that's where we archive all the, and that's the channel that we have at Masters TV. So everybody's doing well. All the cast members are here. You guys are here. More folks join us as we go along, and more people watch this. A lot of people watch these later on in the archives, which is very, very cool. That's what I look to see, is how many people watch it later, more than even live, even though I love live and I've done so much live television and radio. It's people watch it later and they share the links, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Action, lights, levity, and lovity. That's right. That's what the show is all about. So we're very excited to tell you about the terrific guest that I have here on the show, or as Ed Sullivan used to say, the shoe, the big shoe. We've got all kinds of cool stuff to show you, too, that we've assembled with a very special guest, Jason Hewitt. So there he is. And I want to tell you a little bit about him. Good guy, good-hearted guy. He's a comedian, writer, actor based in the Big Apple in New York City. He started doing stand-up comedy. And speaking of Delaware, we had a Delaware viewer watching right now. He started stand-up comedy in Newark, Delaware, while a student at the University of Delaware, where he co-founded the Delaware Comedy Club. Jason hosted shows and led free workshops for the community, and sometimes opened for visiting comics, including Tracy Ashley, Jared Carmichael, and Jason Trejo, and others. And Jason made his stand-up debut in New York City, performing in his second language with El Barrio, a Spanish language comedy group. Since then, he's been performing improv and stand-up around the city and leading tours at the Statue of Liberty, too. That's right. He leads the tours at Statue of Liberty. Maybe you've even seen him. He's known for his ability to mimic accents. That's going to be cool, because, boy, do we have a lot of accents, a lot of different accents from viewers who are watching in Europe, Africa, Asia, Australia, United States, Canada. I mean, we've got every accent, and then you figure the regional dialects incorporated there within. It's cool stuff. He's got this ability to mimic accents and documenting his life. And I said that this was going to be inspirational as much as it's going to be levity and fun. Documented his life with type 1 diabetes. Now, you may remember Mary Tyler Moore she had dealt throughout her entire life with type 1 diabetes as well. And I think she was one of the most visible in always doing all of those commercials and so much fundraising for the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. Very beautiful with that. So what he does is he documents his life with type 1 diabetes through his actual comedy. He has a new book, too, Everything I Never Had Time to Explain About My Diabetes and Celiac, which is available at Amazon, as well as his website, jasonhewitt.com. We're really excited to welcome him to the show, and we're going to chat about his career, his life, and the craziness that we're all dealing with right now in this, I don't know, what do you actually call it? I mean, it's pandemic, it's nuts, it's craziness, it's crazy stuff that only Spielberg or Stephen King or Rod Serling could have brought to our attention, I think, really. Only those guys could have scripted this situation. Let's welcome Jason to the show. Jason, good to have you with us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for having me. Hello, all the lovities. It's good to meet you all. It's good to be here.
That's what it is. It is lovities.
Okay.
There's a little bit of just a light, I think a delay or something, just a slight delay.
Okay.
But hey, I'm sure it'll catch up with itself. It's just the way the world works, right?
Yeah, that's honestly how virtual comedy's been. There's always like a delay, and I'm always stepping on laughs whenever I try to do it virtually. So,
And that's tough when, when you're trying to create comedy and there's a delay with the punchline and everything. That could be, sometimes that could be extra funny because of the reactions to, waiting for the actual thing to happen. Like you said the joke a minute ago and people are still trying to catch up with it.
right.
It creates a whole new craziness. I tell you, the internet is really something else. And any show I've ever watched, including, you can watch the television networks, you can watch the news programs, and you see delay, you see people disappear, you see sometimes their whole face starts to get all crazy, where it gets all like distorted. You see that? I mean, I've seen that on the major news networks. They're doing a major interview and all of a sudden the person's face is distorted. I'm like, oh my God, we're going backwards in time. But how are you? How are you doing? How are you, coping with everything that's going on, and how are you keeping, creative and funny and coming up with things to sort of get us all through these crazy times, Jason?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm doing okay. My mom's worried, but I'm okay. You know what I mean? That's the first thing I want to mention to everybody. I miss a live audience so much. And I was, before the whole pandemic, I was giving tours at Statue of Liberty. It was great to meet people from all over the place and practice a little bit of jokes with them and stuff like that. But, once things started to shut down, I said, okay, I guess it's time to focus more on writing and voice acting and things like that. So I'm the type of person that's always got to be working on something. So, and I've been writing since before I was ever, had the gumption to perform live in front of people. So I just went back to that old habit and just, wrote the book, wrote a bunch of stuff. And
I thought you were going to say that you were writing when you were in the womb. Probably, right?
I was like drawing cave paintings in there or something. What I mean? My sister will have to let you know. She might have seen that.
You'll have to go back in time and look at those sonograms. Do you have a pencil in your hand? A blunt instrument.
Yeah, I'm just writing poetry in there. It's very dark in here.
That's funny. So you're keeping busy, and you're trying to create laughs. And tell us about some of the things that you're working on now. We'll go back in time, as far as your early inspirations, but now trying to get through all of this. Are you finding it harder to make people laugh, or are people probably really, really hungry for it? I would imagine they'd be hungry for it.
Yeah, definitely. I saw, I went to a live show the other day to see Sam Worrell. Everybody was social distance. Everybody had a mask, but it was such a great feeling to go see a live comedian again. And so to be able to not be able to practice that so much outside of going to the park or doing something on the rooftop for neighbors and stuff like that. But I feel like I've been able to make people laugh by using this internet that has given us, so much ups and downs and things like that. Right now, my main goal is a very broad goal, but I'm just trying to spread awareness about type 1 diabetes, about, what is the reality of this disease, because I've had it for 20 years now. I was diagnosed when I was 7 years old, and people have always been asking pretty much the same questions. Doesn't matter how old they are, how young they are, how much, even doctors sometimes, So I thought, this is a great opportunity to connect with the community, the general community of just humanity, but also like the T1D community, to try to, find some niche comedic things and stuff like that, because the most successful set I ever did as a comic was for an audience of type 1 diabetics. So I thought maybe there's something there with how everybody's got their audience. And I'm learning that, the really established comedians have their loyal followings that are, giving them huge boosts on YouTube and things like that. So I thought, well, how can I marry these two, passions of mine, talking about diabetes, empowering people to follow their dreams in spite of it, and then also try to get those laughs in that we all definitely need. And yeah, I definitely agree. Like, people definitely want the laughs. You know, I know so many groups. There's like meme groups where people share, like, you know, almost like an online comic on Facebook groups and things like that. And yeah, we've all been sharing the laughs. It's been good, you know. So there's been a lot of positives coming out of this as well, I think.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, a lot of people are trying to do different things with their lives. They're pivoting. They're sort of like thinking of different ways to come out of this, maybe better for it, you know, more friendly, empathetic, kinder, more creative, you know, realizing we got to do these things together. We got to all be on the same page with stuff if we want things to go in the right direction. And
Right.
so, you know, there's a lot of people are making masks. People are doing a lot of different things to help each other through, delivering food. And there's a lot of cool, beautiful things that are happening that I've even witnessed and have been a part of as well, which I think is awesome. I mean, sometimes with things like this, you see the worst and you see the best all at the same time of people and how they are. Going back in time, were you always the funny kid in the house? Were you always trying to make everybody laugh and do jokes? And tell us about those early years of Jason growing up.
Oh man, I discovered that I was funny when I was about 9 years old, and like, cause I was a very shy kid to begin with, and when I was diagnosed with diabetes at age 7, I really just kind of shut down, and then I don't remember what, I think it was that there was another kid my age who was then in my class. He was type 1 diabetic, and he was like the funny kid. And so we became friends. And then all of a sudden I was just like, wow, this feels awesome. I love making people laugh. Then I started getting more into performing. My mom took me to an improv class. It was probably like the only improv class in Delaware. And so she said, you can't be funny in class because, you know, you got to get your grades up and all that. But, you know, here's how you can channel that creativity into something productive. So I did that class, and that there was like a segment of that where everybody had like a prop and you had to do like a monologue on the spot with that prop. And then that was where I got my first laugh, and I've been addicted ever since, pretty much. And then, you know, growing up and stuff like that, like I you know, went into being an athlete a little bit, and I was like avoiding the stage because I was afraid to like sing in front of people, because the only plays that they were doing were like musicals and things like that. So I played football and basketball, and but even then I was still, you know, among my close friends, definitely like the funny guy. You know, I was making jokes all the time. And I was throughout my life constantly writing literal like comics and drawing the figures, and usually it would be like inside jokes. I went to a pretty small school. The graduating class was like 75 kids. And then in high school, my graduating class was only like 300 people. And so I would always find a lot of success like making satires of like different school policies and things like that. And I was always watching stand-up comedy with my friends, like whenever we got together for sleepovers and things like that. So I would say like, you know, I didn't even know I could like do stand-up comedy. I don't know where I never, you know, made that connection, but it wasn't until I turned 20. I did my first like student show, but up until that point I was only writing, and I thought that's all I'm going to do. I don't know about performing. And over time, I just eventually just said, challenge myself to try to do it. And where I really kind of felt that I thrived in that environment was I started going to, I know I'm jumping around in history a bit, but when I was 11 years old, I started going to Camp Possibilities, which is a summer camp for diabetic kids. And over the years there, I met so many different types of friends from so many different backgrounds. And I developed a sense of humor there by taking the stage as a comedic rapper named Diabetes. And, you know, it was also like inside jokes, like, you know, things about living with diabetes, shout outs to all the nurses, things like that. And making the kids laugh, you know, eventually, you know, I kept doing that. And then I became a counselor at 16. And I had this loyal audience of kids that were like, you know, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old. They're like growing up watching Diabetes, you know, perform about diabetes and stuff like that. And I was just absolutely hooked from there to the point where I was like, I need to try to do whatever I can to get better and see if I can pursue this professionally. And that's where I've been ever since.
Mhm. So you tried to get healthy, which is really, really important.
Oh,
And
definitely.
you worked towards that at that early age.
Yeah, yeah. I started like, when I was really, really young, I was a complete, like my parents would describe me as like a real, like a big nerd. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like large because, oh, hey, Jeff, he's the director of Camp Possibilities. So
Oh,
I was,
fantastic.
yeah, yeah, it's like a family there. And I think they actually saw me before I started getting into sports too. Like when I was 11 years old, Jeff might remember how like tiny I was back then. But I started. I never thought that I could play football because my mom doesn't remember this, but I remember her talking about some family member who wanted to play football, but then his wife or his mom like didn't want him to play because it was a rough sport and they thought he might get hurt. And so I'd always remember my mom saying, no, like, you're diabetic and you're this kid and you're very
Yeah.
scrawny and like, you don't like to play rough. So like you wouldn't want to play football. But then eventually I just started thinking, I actually saw there was a kid visiting, like a high school kid visiting our school when I was in 5th grade. And he was like the all-state football player. And he said, oh yeah, I'm diabetic. And so I was like one of the kids that asked him a question. I said, how do you play football with diabetes? And he said, well, you just take care of yourself. And then they just treat you like a normal kid. I said, really? He said, yeah. And that just kind of planted the seed in my mind that's like, this disease doesn't have to stop me from trying new things, even if I think they're like, dangerous, like football, you know what I mean? So I started playing it at 12 and I was naturally a little bit big at that point. I started doing push-ups every day, stuff like that. Eventually I got a pretty good football career, like in high school and everything, but then I got injured, unrelated to diabetes. And then that was the end of that pretty much, you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it taught me a lot about being healthy and disciplined and just proving my doubts wrong. You know what I mean? And that was something that, as a counselor, from like 16 to like 22 was like the prime years of that. I've moved on to more like administrative kind of stuff with camp now because of the distance and everything. But that was one of the things that I wanted to show the kids rather than like preach about it. Like, I was in very good shape and I wanted to be that role model for them the way that that guy was for me when I saw him in 5th grade. You know what I mean? So, it's still with its challenges and stuff like that. And, my diabetes management isn't perfect, but it's good enough that it's like the equivalent of like a B plus. You know what I mean? Like the doctors would say, you're doing good, but you could be doing better, and that's always true. And now when I'm trying to, when I was a kid, I would be beating myself up about it, be like, I'm lazy, I'm not taking good care of myself. There must be something wrong with that. But when I started hearing other people's stories and being part of a community was so helpful for that, I started realizing that no matter who you are, what your background is, this disease is tough. And, whatever you do, there's going to be things that go wrong and that's not your fault. It's out of your control. But you can still do your best. You can still gain an advantage over the disease and you can still overcome it to do great things. I guess I was really like a lifelong student of other diabetics who were successful and things like that. It's very encouraging to see people saying like, their parents were lived to very long in life and things like that. Because when I was diagnosed, they said, yeah, you might make it to 45 if you're lucky. Yeah. So that was a tough pill to swallow even back then. But we've come a long way,
You really have, which is amazing. How were you able to develop this into a career, the comedy, where it actually became something you really wanted to do professionally, as well as acting as part of all of that?
It's a great question. Because when I started really putting the pieces together in college, and that was when I decided, because my parents, said, you can major in anything you want. You have all this money that you've been saving up your whole life, pay for college yourself, and we'll be, it's on you. If you fail, if you get good grades, great. If you don't, then we're, out of the picture now. You're an adult, but do your thing and God bless. So I said, okay, I'm going to study creative writing because I was writing novels and short stories and I wanted to be a writer. But as I had done a performance in high school, it was like this big performance that this guy put together for his senior project. It was independently produced. The news came to see it. And I was like the lead role. I was like a detective in this murder mystery, and my sister was in it. It was a really great production. And ever since I did that, like I knew football was over for me. So I thought, let me try acting. And then in college, I was like, I want to try everything. So I just explored every single student club that I possibly could. And I started gaining more momentum within those clubs. But instead of, approaching it in the linear sense of like finding an agent and all that kind of stuff, which I thought the professional direction was, from my experiences in college, I was just doing independent productions, teaching myself how to film, all that kind of stuff. And so then what I did in college and with stand-up too, is I had built a network by my senior year of all the presidents of the club so that I could get a venue for a show. I could set up a workshop for somebody. And then I realized if I approach this like a business and do independent things, use the internet, things like that, that seems to be where the industry is going in the future. And so, I did look for an agent. I did look for linear paths. I did do an internship for performing in theater. But especially with comedy, I was running a business, hosting shows, just going to bars or venues, just saying, hey, my friend and I would like to do a comedy show here. It's going to be, X minutes long, and we can give you a cut of the door sales, or we can just, whatever you want. And, everything was a case-by-case situation, but, I modeled those shows off of clubs that I had performed in, like Baltimore, Philadelphia. They did like bringer shows. And so I realized, you can make money by making a competition out of something, and you can bring people together with the free community workshops that we were doing and things like that. So I became really interested in challenging myself to do everything in this career independently. And to see how far that's going to take me. And I think that, that's the direction that everyone's going to go in with YouTube and the internet and creating all these niche audiences. But at the same time, it definitely helps to have an agent that has all those connections to clubs and things like that. So
that's right.
Out, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a real journey, right? And
Absolutely.
Continues to be a journey as well, which is what it's all about. I want to take people through some of the cool photos we have here, some of the journey, and then we've got some great photos of video of you doing your thing as well.
Nice.
Feel free to throw in a joke anytime you want if you think we could all use it this year. I tell you, here's a cool shot. Where was this? What was happening here?
Oh, that's one of me at Eastville Comedy Club in Brooklyn. I'm doing an open mic, and it was just another day on stage. You know what I mean? I think that, sometimes they go good, sometimes they're not so good, but you're just up there testing out materials and things like that. So, I don't remember exactly what joke I was saying there, but since you said throw them in there, put me on the spot, I got you.
Remembering the exact joke, that would be tough. Do you remember the first joke you told professionally on stage? What joke you shot out there that everybody loved?
First professional joke. I remember the first joke that got a big laugh in New York City. It was like the first time I ever tried an open mic in New York City. And it was the first joke in my set. So it was off to a really great start, and the rest of it was just tanked. I mean, I was like 22 and did no idea. But I said, yeah, guys, I'm from Delaware, and a lot of New Yorkers, for some reason, don't know where Delaware is. They're getting all offended at me, like, where the F is Delaware? And I said, well, listen, guys, as long as it's not in New Jersey, we're off to a good start. So that got a laugh. And then that was it. So I've expanded.
Especially in a New York audience, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Although I think that might be universal, perhaps. You could go anyway.
Yeah, it's either New Jersey or Florida. So another quick one I got is like, I'm really glad I don't live in Florida anymore. Not because, I used to say that, actually, I just forgot that joke. I was writing it earlier today. I'm not sure it'll come back to me.
That one went out to sea.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I always tell myself, people tell me a joke.
Well, is your mind always racing?
Well, when you're on stage and you catch that rhythm, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, there's for me, like, there's an improviser mind and there's a stand-up mind, and that's where the gears kind of get crossed, I guess, for me.
People in New York probably think you're from New York and not Delaware because of the speed of the conversation. And I'm from New York originally as well. Mm-hmm. And there's a certain way, there's energy and movement and no dead air ever. We can really fill in sentences and keep flow going. And you have that as well. So I'm sure people probably think that are in New York, you must have grown up in New York.
A lot of people, yeah. I mean, one joke I do remember, I tell my tours all the time, is that when I first came to the city, I'm not the best with directions. I mean, I don't tell my guests that on the tours, but the truth is I'm not that good at directions. I was always looking at my map, not knowing how the subways worked. But people always kept asking me for directions. And I said, okay, I guess this must be my calling to be a tour guide. So here I am. But I don't know why they kept asking me. I guess because I don't think I look like a New Yorker. I know that I've adapted the accent a little bit. I've lost my Delaware accent, but I still call it my home. That's like the Delaware accent. When I go back there, people are like, why are you talking so fast? And, when I order food, they're just like trying to have a conversation. I'm just like, my food.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How did you get into giving tours at the Statue of Liberty? How'd that happen?
I was looking on Playbill or Backstage, one of those casting websites, and it said had a casting call for tour guide. So I applied, and they said, "Oh wow, so you're tall and you've taught like kids before. You have all this experience. You speak Spanish, and you're an actor. So yeah, you're hired. Come be a tour guide." And so it's been a great experience working with them and showing people around the Statue of Liberty. I've met people from all over the world, and it's just incredible. But I have to say that from meeting people from outside of London, Scotland, Ireland, certain parts, sometimes it's hard for me to understand their accents, and that made me feel so much better about how I have trouble in Spanish sometimes because people have different accents, and sometimes you just have trouble with the accent. It's not the language itself. So that's been one of the interesting learning experiences. And it's just such a cool history there with the Statue of Liberty.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Of course, now they're not doing it now, obviously, with everything going on, right? With the COVID and all.
They just opened back up.
Did they?
They did, yeah. So the company is they're doing like maybe one or two tours. Like our company's a private company, and then the Statue of Liberty itself is open to the public, but they don't let anybody inside the pedestal. You have to go outside, and the boats have like open windows and things like that. So it's virtually just like being outside the whole time. And I believe they also closed off Ellis Island.
Yeah. So will you be going back doing the tours again?
I hope so. I would definitely love to. I really love just meeting people and getting in that rhythm.
Absolutely. Here's we're going back early times here in your comedy life.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's I think that is the set that I did where I was doing jokes just about diabetes, and it just flowed so well. It was such a mixed audience. There was kids in the front row, like the little 7-year-olds, and then older and older as you went back. And I just remember everyone was laughing, and that was the best feeling. You know what I mean? Because I love just having something that's accessible to everyone in the room. And
you mentioned the camp too, and we have some shots there. Tell us about that camp and the importance of the camp.
That's my basketball coach right there. He's telling me I need to improve my my foul shots right there.
Yeah, right. Right. The kid in the blue shirt is the coach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's giving me pointers on how to shoot there. Because my story with basketball is like in 8th grade, I was as tall as I am now. I'm 6'2", and I was on the basketball team, and it was a no-brainer that I played center. But then in high school, the guards started getting taller than me, so then I lost any reason for being on the court. Basically, I was never that great at basketball, so I probably deserved the pointers. But I know who that kid is. I know you can't see his face, but I know who that is, and he's all grown up now, which is really, really cool. The first kids that I had as my campers there are now, most of them are like counselors. Like they're like 18, 19 years old, and they have their own like campers and stuff like that. It's really cool to be able to see it like continue, like the legacy continues and stuff. Absolutely. So yeah, it's always a blast there. Oh yeah, there's all the kids are teaching me how to dance. I guess I was like the electric slide or something. Also a terrible dancer, but we're out there having a good time, and I'm just trying to make sure I'm not knocking anybody over right there. So, you know what I mean? And a lot of those kids too, like I know, again, can't see their faces, but I recognize a few of them, and it's like, oh yeah, like so-and-so is growing up now. And it's just so surreal to see all, I mean, I look a little younger too. I don't have a beard or anything, but you know, to see them so little right now is kind of like, oh yeah, because there was a gap year where I missed going back to camp, and then one of the kids, he shot up like a weed. He was like taller than me. And I didn't recognize him at all. I felt so bad at first. He called me out on it later too. He's like, I know you didn't recognize me, but I was like, dude, you like transformed into, you know, this taller than me and stuff. So, you know, it's just like a great family over there. You know what I mean? And yeah. They get all the humor. They get all the jokes, you know. Oh, right there. So that is the Write a Play tour that I did with Florida Studio Theater. Those are the two casts. There was actually three casts there. There's the blue team, the red team, and then the in-house show right there. What they did is they did an outreach program where all of us pictured there would do different shows for students, K through 6. And the red team and the blue team, we would travel all around southwestern Florida, even up to the Panhandle and into Miami. And we would perform in the schools. And so the program reaches over like 10,000 students a year. And this was like where I got my professional start in performing, and I learned how to work with an audience, get that rhythm. And it's because kids are the most brutally honest audience ever.
Oh, you know?
Yeah. First thing they say, your feet are big. You know what I mean? Like,
there's no filter.
There's absolutely no filter. And it was the best experience. We were performing plays that other kids had written in like previous years. The kids write the plays, they submit them to the theater, and then we go out and perform the plays and then teach them how to write plays so that they can submit again. So one of the classes that I taught is like a special needs class with first and second graders. They wrote one of the winning plays. They selected 11 winning plays to be performed in the spring. And they wrote a play that was selected as one of the winners. And then we brought them and all their other, classmates in their school into the theater to see the 11 winning plays. So that was just such a fun experience. I learned a lot about writing there too, and like about comedy again, because everything was so genuine and simplified. And it's easy to make kids laugh because you just talk about cheese or something like that, or like a unicorn named Bob. Every kid likes a unicorn named Bob, but at the same time, it's like the plot lines that they would come up with are so simple. And it's like, oh yeah, the story can be done right there. And that's all you need. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I learned a lot. I got bullied a lot by kids. But,
kids a lot shorter than you.
Yeah, half my size. But the best time I had there was a kid that I would tell the kids, because we had a very like diverse cast. We wanted to promote letting kids be able to see themselves in the people that were performing on stage. And so one of the things that we as a cast like talked about with the director was like, oh, we all want to make sure that we really spotlight that. And so I said, I could show them my insulin pump because I'm following my dreams, and I never thought I could do this. And I didn't think much of it because I would just, it was integrated into the performance. I would show them my insulin pump every day. And I didn't think much of it until one day, this little girl and a teacher come up to me and they're just like, oh, she has something to say to you. I said, oh, cool. Like, do you want a high five? Like, because I just gave everybody a high five. And she's like hiding behind the teacher, but then all of a sudden she just pulls out her insulin pump. And I was just like, oh man, like that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like that was, after being bullied for so long about this and that, the one kid, you know what I mean? Like that was just a really great moment.
It looks like you don't get bullied just by children.
No, that's my dog. My parents' dog, really. So when I moved out to college, they replaced me with the dog, and I want to make sure we had a dog picture because I know they do so well on your show. That's Nellie right there. She's a rescue, and we didn't get along at first. Like, I guess she was very like skittish of the whole family. We named her Nellie because I said she was like a nervous Nellie. And so that's how she got her name. But we ended up, after she asserted her dominance over me right there and made sure that I take her on walks as scheduled. You know what I mean? We're like best friends now. And she's just a really, really smart dog. Yeah, there she is working, giving me feedback on something I'm writing, my latest set. And don't forget this joke, Jason. But also very much wanting a walk in that picture.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Acting as well.
Yes, that's my debut in New York City. That was a play called Sigh No More by
Cool.
Tess McGinnis. Pictured there is my co-star, Janelle Yule. And that was an original play that Tess had written for the Winterfest or Summerfest. And it was just such a really cool play. Like, talks about the journeys that people take when they're navigating a career in performing, and particularly in theater. And that was a really fun character to play. And just a really well-written show. It was just a pleasure to be part of that one.
Would you like to do more of that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm just dying to perform live. Anything, you know what I mean? Make me a tree in the background. You know?
Right now, everybody is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a cool shot here too.
Oh yeah, that's me at the Laughing Buddha. I think at the K Lounge in the Lower East Side. That was one of the first shows that I finally got a good group of friends together to come out, and they got to see it, and that was a really great experience for all of us. And the person who's helping me with social media is like, put that everywhere. It's a good photo. And I said, okay. So
yeah. We even used it as well here on the show. Have you ever had to deal with a heckler? And if so, how have you handled, you know? And I mean hecklers aside from family.
Well, you know, family's definitely probably the loudest hecklers when they come. You know what I mean? I actually had a video when I was still in college about a heckler takedown, right? I actually I had this joke about how I wanted diabetes for Christmas. And the joke was something like, I was asking Santa for presents, and then somebody interrupts me. And, you know, he came out with something a little bit crude, so I don't know if I can say it on your show right now, but like, basically, I was just kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of put him in his place, you know what I mean? And then there's been other more recent times I was heckled. I wasn't that prepared with a set or with the jokes, and I kind of didn't know what to say. But like, whenever, especially when I was getting heckled by kids, you can't like put somebody in their place. You know what I mean? I had to learn how to, like, you know, acknowledge whatever they're saying very quickly and then get back to it. And same thing with being a tour guide. You can't curse out a guest. You know what I mean? You can't emasculate a guest. You might get fired. You definitely won't get tips.
Doesn't mean you don't want to. It's just you can't. There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we live on tips, basically. So those go such a long way. I tell you what, when I was working, everything was great. But, you know, but also, you know, you don't want to ruin the experience for anybody else that's there to have a good time. But whereas if you're in a club, all bets are off. You know, anything's fair game. And so it's interesting to have to adapt to those different environments. But I even if I'm doing like a live show like this and I see a comment, my instinct is just to respond to it right away. You know what I mean? And I think that that's a good, you know, fundamental of it.
Right. I'm that way too. Absolutely. That's why we're so viewer centric and try to respond to everybody here. We have some video we want to share with people too, so we can get into some of the, what is this one? This is a VO, Jesus Healing, or tell us about this one.
Oh yeah. This was just a really cool project that I did to show off what I can do with the accents. There was a casting call for, he wanted somebody with a half British, half American accent. And then he put up an actor who had done it in a live action movie. And so I worked on it for a couple of days, sent in the audition, and I got a response. He was like, wow, that's like perfect. Let's, you know, do this. And so it was a really cool little animation clip right there. And I like to tell people as a voice actor, I did the voice of God. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's a little thing to say. But it was a really cool project, and you know, I can't imagine how much work he had to put into animating all those scenes.
And he played God, George Burns, in the movie. Right. You're the son of God, right?
yeah, exactly. It's good to see my father in the toy character there.
The characters. Can you also do impressions too? Impressions of people?
Yeah, I used to do a really good Barack Obama, but recently I had to practice them regularly. So I do a good Bernie Sanders from Brooklyn. The corruption of the billionaires is too damn high in this country. You know what I mean? Things like that. David Attenborough, the documentary announcer for the nature documentaries. I do a good impression of him. He goes, and here we have the stand-up comedian on the Jim Masters show. He carefully sits in an upright position so that the camera can see his face. He's very hungry for the long winter ahead. Something like that. You know what I mean? And if anybody gives me somebody to imitate, I can study them and then learn that. And that's a skill that I've had ever since I was a little kid. My mom had a friend from Australia, and I would make fun of her accent because I thought this is so different. And then my grandmother on my dad's side was from New England. So she would always say, "Hi, darling, how you doing? Get your arm out of the car," that kind of thing. So I was able to pick up these accents really fast. And, I just love practicing with them, doing all sorts of different characters. The character that people love on social media, his name is Angelo Gorgatino, all right? All right, he's from New York. He's totally got a legitimate business, all right? Forget about it, that kind of thing. So I love playing around with like all those different things and definitely trying to integrate them more into my set. Anytime I get an assignment for a character, I love that because it's just a challenge, to do like the voice that I did for Jesus in that video, blending the English and American accents there.
Yeah, let's take a look at that right now, and we'll come back and we'll chat some more.
How shall we picture the kingdom of God? And to what shall I compare it? It is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his garden. It is the smallest of all seeds. But when it has grown, it is larger than all the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. Your sins are forgiven.
Why does this man speak like that? He is blaspheming.
This man is blaspheming. Blaspheming, I tell you.
Who can forgive sins but God alone?
Why do you question these things with your hearts? Which is easier, to say, your sins are forgiven, or to say, rise and walk? But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins. I say to you, rise, pick up your bed, and go home.
Yes! He's been healed! Praise the Lord!
That was cool. Wow. In Lego, it reminded me of, it wasn't done in Lego. It was done in that real time consuming. That's time consuming because they have to get every little shot, move the hand a little, take the shot, move the hand, move the head, and Gumby, Davy and Goliath, all those stop action, what they did was a little bit more towards the claymation side, but very similar to that as well. And the voices, did you do several voices, all the voices, or just one or two?
For that one, I just did Jesus's voice. And then I think that the creator did it, or some of his friends or somebody.
Where can you see? Is there a full, is that just that? Was that a clip from it, or is there a longer version? That was really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, there's a longer version on his YouTube channel, Just DK Films, that has like the whole scene from the Bible and all that. And he's got a bunch of other Lego animations that he does, I think with his church group or something like that. Very talented animator and very passionate about, those stories and stuff. I did another, there wasn't a video to it because it was just all audio, but I did one show where I voiced all the characters, and it's like this murder mystery parody thing on my website. I wasn't sure if I could share with you because there's like literally no video to it, but if anybody wants to listen to that, I do the voices of like, it's like there's a character from like New Orleans type of voice, and he kind of talks like this. And then there's Lady Pinklebottom, who talks like this, and then the butler Charles, who has a voice that's a bit more. And that took me forever to put all the voices together and edit, but that was a lot of fun to do something to give myself the ability to practice all those different voices. I would love to do voices for Disney movies. Disney, if you're watching, hit me up. Yeah, that would be so awesome because there's so many great movies that Disney puts out, and I think that performing for kids really showed me like the range of all the different kind of voices and characters. That's just fun to do. You know what I mean? So.
Absolutely. We've got some more video here. We're going to take a look at this, and then we'll come right back with more. Our special guest on the Jim Master Show Live is Jason Hewitt. Here we go.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I finally did it, you guys. I quit substitute teaching, which, if you don't know, is the pinnacle of what you can do in life as an English major. To like barista, English teacher, gluten-free wheat dealer. But I finally quit because I got tired of being bullied by the kids. I kept trying to actually teach them things. And one day after third grade gym class, this kid's like, Mr. Hewitt, I know the green team won, but it's not about winning and losing. Sometimes it's just about having fun. And I was like, well, that's right, class, but sometimes winning is also important because that's how you get ahead in life. Said the substitute teacher. I guess I better be a barista again.
Where was that again? Because it matches the photo. Where were you?
Same venue. That was the same on the Lower East Side, the K Lounge.
Then you have another one, the video Diabetes Education. Tell us a little bit about that one. We'll slip into that one.
Oh, sure. So that is something new that I'm doing because when I wrote that set about the substitute teacher, that's an old joke that I've been doing forever. And believe it or not, that's almost entirely a true story. Like the kid did say it's not about winning or losing, it's just about having fun. And I tried to be like, but winning's important. And then I don't think they said that quick, but they did throw a zinger at me. And I was just kind of like, you got me, you know what I mean? But the diabetes education stuff, I'm trying to experiment with just being honest and candid with, what a day in the life type of stuff. So it's almost like guerrilla style documentary filming, I guess. But the goal of it is just to spread awareness and show like, what is this really like? You know what I mean? And so I'm doing that mostly on TikTok, where the following is just exploding thanks to their algorithm, I guess. And I am really excited with all the people that are reaching out to me about like they want to write books and how can I help them and things like that. And also people saying, thanks for saying this. My doctor needs to hear it. You know what I mean? So there's all sorts of content out there, and eventually I'll put it on YouTube and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I hope that people can relate to it, learn from it, and enjoy it.
Yeah, let's take a look at that right now.
Sure.
Type 1 diabetes fun fact. So check this out. This is a site. What you're seeing is what goes under the skin from the tube thing that attaches to the body. And this little cannula right here, let's bring that into focus, that is where the insulin goes through to go into my skin. I want to show you guys how easy it is to bend this thing. Look at that. Just kinked it right there. I've been kinking it around as I've been trying to make this video, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is for things to go wrong inside. If it gets pinched by fat or muscle, if I rolled over in my sleep or something like that, this can happen, and then this can be the difference between having a normal, healthy day and having a high blood sugar nightmare like I'm having right now. So, hope everybody's doing well. Stay tuned for more videos, and stay tuned for my book, which is coming out. It's gonna be ready for pre-order really, really soon. DM me for details.
Cool stuff. And, you're very open about it too. Were you at all hesitant to be open in the beginning and sharing your life so intimately?
Absolutely. I mean, that was, when I was taking a class with Laughing Buddha, and they were preaching, be honest on stage. And then I think my girlfriend recommended it to me that I just do videos like that, where you just like tell people what you're telling me, because she'd never met a diabetic before and gotten to know somebody that closely before. And I said, are people really going to want to know? this stuff, because I have nothing to hide. I'm a very boring person, off the stage. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if Google, Bezos, I know Bezos is listening right now. Like, it's all good.
You basically never leave that four-wall room you're in right now, right? That's it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
This is your excitement for the month.
Exactly. Yeah. This is the most social interaction I've had in a long time.
Well, I'm happy you chose us.
Thank you. Thank you for giving the opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I was definitely hesitant, but it's been taken off really well. So I'm just happy people are responding to it so well.
Which is a beautiful thing, because I'm sure you've had people too who are going through maybe not even just diabetes, but other health issues, who it makes them feel better because of the element of comedy, of humor, because you can really go in the other direction where you're depressed and anxious and you're closing up shop. But to add in some humor a little bit is actually a great way. It's great therapy too, and it releases those endorphins. I mean, physically, mentally, soulfully, it's a phenomenal thing to laugh. I'm big with comedy. I'm always big with laughter. I'm always looking for that one line to make others laugh all the time. So, as an observer of life like you are, and it's a really cool way to deal with a tough subject, and kind of unique too, right? I don't know a lot of people that have specialized in what you're doing, where you do comedy about everything, but then you've got this niche focused on health and type 1 diabetes, or diabetes in general. It's sort of a unique thing you're doing, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm not the first person to ever try doing it. Like, Ed Gamble's a famous type 1 diabetic comedian. He's got a special on Netflix and everything. And but what he said is like, people aren't going to get it in his set. And I thought, but is there a way to make people get it? Is there a way to connect the dots? And what kind of comparisons can I draw for people? And I kept realizing that there's so much more to explain than just what is diabetes. There's also, it's not what you think it is, because a lot of people think diabetes just means like type 2 diabetes. And they don't think people tell me all the time, you don't look diabetic. I say, really? What am I supposed to look like? You know what I mean? So there's a lot of explaining, a lot of conversations to have. And then, I think a lot of people can relate to the frustrations with like dealing with health insurance, and those are the things that I just started learning recently. And with those things, it's hard to be funny about it because it's so recent. I feel like I need to give it a little bit more time to marinate before I can really approach it in a way that isn't, like you said, like that anxiety and the fear and all that kind of stuff. But for the things I went through as a kid, and the things, the comments people make, and all that, I can joke about all day, you know what I mean? Because it's been part of my life for so long. And, one of the jokes that I have with that, and this is true, people always tell me, oh yeah, my grandma has diabetes. And I say, really? Like, are you trying to hook me up with your grandma or something? Because, let me have her number, because it's lonely out here being the only diabetic, you know what I mean? But, so that's a joke that people are starting to relate to. It's like, oh, okay, I'm giving people permission to laugh.
Do you wind up getting the number?
I think one time somebody's like, yeah, if you ever need insulin. But seriously, I mean, there's such people are rationing supplies that we give each other contact information. We go out of our way to send each other supplies. So in that sense, it does actually happen, literally. And I tell you, when people have been in a pinch, it's really good to have that network.
And diabetes is rampant in the United States. It's everywhere. Either somebody that has it, or a family member, or somebody. And it's increased in years over time as well. And childhood obesity as well as diabetes are linked, it seems, too, right?
Well, for type 2 diabetes. Yeah. So the type that I have, there's no way to prevent it. Yeah, type 1 diabetes, there's no way to prevent it, no way to cure it, and we've known about it since the ancient Egyptians.
Is heredity, does that play a role?
We think so, because my great-grandfather had it, and then I have a cousin who also has type 1 diabetes, and so it's speculated, but nobody really knows for sure.
Did you ever get a chance to come across Mary Tyler Moore, who was such a vocal presence with the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation? And Yeah.
Not in person, but she's one of the many people that, of course, I've always looked up to. You know, there's so many, anyone is like, oh, wow, another one of us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And there were days she was on set where she didn't always feel good and she had to pause and, you know, because there's flare ups and different things. I mean, for somebody who is not as familiar with type 1 who might be watching, how do you describe a day that isn't going well?
it's a day that's not going well is kind of like you're battling with adults. I compare it to like a hangover. It is kind of what a high blood sugar is like. And then a low blood sugar is kind of like you're really low energy. You're really foggy. Yeah. And the blood sugars could go high or low, and both of them are problematic, potentially life-threatening. Typically nowadays, people have more troubles with the highs than the lows. And in those cases, it's harder to kind of recognize that, but somebody else can recognize it because a high blood sugar will affect your mood, your ability to concentrate, you start to sweat more and things like that. So, yeah. It's, but I document, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, how about as you're aging, does it, you know, reduce at all, or it's just something that it's there and you got to deal with it?
It's more the latter. You know, as you get older, if you don't take good care of yourself, complications will start to happen. So I got a friend who's just a little bit older than me, about 29 years old, and I know that he's had a hard time taking care of himself for a lot of different reasons. And there have been times where, you know, see on Facebook or something, you might be in danger of losing a limb or something like that because the complications can get really, really severe as you get older if you don't take good care of yourself.
Diabetic coma, things of that nature.
Exactly. Yeah. All those things add up over time.
Yeah. Yeah. Christopher said his mother had a heart issue. Her sugar was at 800.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's up there. Also, he had asked, does adding cinnamon to your diet or even turmeric help you?
No, so that's a misconception about dieting. It has to do something with type 2 diabetes.
They blend it together.
Yeah, exactly. I'm laughing because in all the comedy diabetes groups I'm now a part of, that's one of the big jokes that we have going around. It's like people trying to say, oh, just take cinnamon and you'll be cured. And it's like, no. You know what I mean? People have told me so many things over the years.
Trying to help, I guess. They think they're helpful. Yeah.
The intentions are always good. God bless everybody. You know what I mean? Like the intentions are good, but sometimes it's just like, you know, sometimes the comments, how better feel, trying performance. Yes. So low blood sugar, that's where you really get foggy. Like if you're driving and you have a low blood sugar, then you have to pull over because that could be dangerous. So on stage or on the field, I would always have like a Gatorade, which will raise the blood sugar very quickly. You know, I just duck behind the stage and get some Gatorade. But I've also had trouble with them as a comic.
Triggers? I mean, are there things that you could do or not do that could lead to these episodes?
Yes, there's a million things. But basically, insulin, if you take insulin, that lowers the blood sugar. If you eat food, that raises the blood sugar. Things like exercise and alcohol can go either way with a million different factors that science is also still kind of learning every day. But for the most part, managing diabetes for people is kind of like, what did I eat? Did I calculate the dosage correctly? And did I take the right amount? Did I remember to take any insulin? You know what I mean?
What about stress?
Yes, that also usually raises the blood sugar because it causes the liver to release like glucose into your bloodstream. And you know, if you're already high, it's like a cycle. You know what I mean? Like the high blood sugar makes you more stressed, and the stress makes it go higher, and you know, you just can't get out of it.
Vicious cycle.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Here's another video. We're going to take a look at this one, and we'll come right back with more. In this one, you look a little bit like Jake Gyllenhaal.
Thanks. People have been saying.
What's up, everybody? Jason here. I'm going to give you another day in the life of a creative type 1 diabetic. And today what I want to talk about is a myth that surrounds type 1 diabetes, that being that we can't eat sugar. So as you can see right here, I've got this bowl of sugary cereal. I'm going to take a nice little bite right here. So much sugar.
You just disappeared. You have to make, you got to have the humor in it because, and if you were, can you have a bowl of sugary cereal? No.
It depends. So diabetes is a balancing act. So if your blood sugar is low, you need that bowl of sugar. If it's high, then you shouldn't have it. But typically, yes, you can have it as long as you correct for it with insulin.
Yeah,
is the short answer to that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I had an aunt that ended up doing the dialysis like daily almost, with a Baxter boxes would come to her house with all the, the fluid that would go up on the IV thing, and then I'd have to run it through. She would have to do that. Yeah. And that was type 2, but still it was, a lifelong situation for her. Here's another cool video here.
I say, chap, did you hear how much the Americans are spending on insulin? I know, I can't bloody believe it. They pay so much. How amusing. Scotland, how much do you pay? About this many. Oh, yes, interesting. Spain? Bueno, para nosotros la insulina es básicamente gratis. And New Zealand? Yeah, you get insulin for free here. Oh, yes, and what about the neighboring countries? No mames, $1,200 al mes. Aquí en México es como $50 al mes. And what about in Canada, the inventor of insulin? Oh, well, for Canadians it's basically free, but if an American needs some insulin from us, I'll be happy to send it to you for about $70 US. $70, mate? That's a lot. I'd reckon I'd send it for free, but I'm out here in Australia. $70 for insulin? I'll take it.
How long did it take you to put that one together?
Oh, a couple minutes. You know what I mean? It's just on the TikTok app, and it's just took a couple takes for each accent. I kept slipping up, especially with the Spanish. I wanted to make sure I got that as good as possible. But yeah, I did that all within like one morning, basically. And I try to do at least one video a day, so that I can keep engagement going with the followers. And I'm always just trying new material like that. Finding that, when I do put the accents into it and a little more comedy and things like that, it gives everybody that laugh that we need, especially as we're quarantining with diabetes and stuff.
Now, how often do you include diabetes in your performance? Do you do performances where diabetes isn't even discussed at all, or is there always elements of diabetes incorporated in your performance?
Depending on how much time I have and who I'm speaking to, yes and no, but typically it's just such a large component of my life that it's going to find its way in there one way or another. Or somebody's going to see my tube sticking out of my pocket and they're going to be like, what is that? And then the whole conversation starts from there,
Can you imagine doing the routine at a bake sale?
I could, because I also have celiac disease, which means I'm gluten-free, and it's so much easier to make jokes about that. And my cousins always say, like, oh, you live in Brooklyn, you're a hipster and all that kind of stuff. So it's really easy to make jokes about that, and vegans and, dietary issues in general. And I'm reworking one that I used to do in Delaware a whole lot. But back then there was so much less awareness about gluten. Nowadays, people, I tell them I'm gluten-free, and they just say, oh yeah, I love gluten, it's delicious, as if they're like rubbing it in my face. They don't know it's an actual health condition and things like that. But there's a lot of comedic material just within celiac disease and stuff, and it's a lot of fun, because there's just less stakes with that. You know what I mean? And the main joke I have with that is, and this is also true, usually when people ask me what happens to me if I eat gluten, it's like I'm sitting down at dinner with my girlfriend's parents for the first time, or I'm at a corporate meeting or whatever with my old job or something like that, and like I don't want to tell people about what happens in the bathroom after I eat gluten. You know what I mean? Like, especially like not those people, or right when we're about to eat. You know what I mean? So like that was the whole like premise of the joke, and I'm today working on ways of how to put that into a set in a way that everybody can understand without alienating the vegans who choose their diets too much. You know what I mean? So but it's always a lot of fun.
Where do you hope all of this leads? Do you have a master plan, an idea of a journey where you want to take all of this, hopefully?
I know that, life has a wicked sense of humor. So I want to say that, like, as soon as I really sort of like take off as like the diabetic comedian or whatever, there'll be a cure. And then I'll be like, now what? But I would love to have the cure and then have that challenge. But right now, I just released the book, and I'm hoping that people just kind of understand what we're going through. And my goal for not just for me, but for the country is really, I just want some sort of solution so that everyone, diabetic, cancer patient, whatever condition they have, can have affordable and reliable access to the medications and procedures that they need to survive. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people my age that are dying from rationing insulin. Over in Minnesota, Alex Smith, 26 years old, and they passed an insulin price cap bill in his name. And now the lobbyists are suing they're saying that that law is unconstitutional. And so that's creating more hurdles for people to get access to the medication that they need. So I'm really hoping that we can all come together and just, find a win-win for everybody, if that's even possible. But bottom line, there's lots of children that, who need medication that aren't always able to get it for a lot of reasons. And I cover them more in my book. It's a really heavy topic, but I learned.
It's just the book here, right? Where we're looking at the cover.
Yes. It's I'm still waiting on my shipment. Amazon's, hey Bezos, step it up a little bit, But if you order it on Prime, it should get to you in a good amount of time. Or there's also the online version available for the Kindle as well, and they're all available now.
Is there anything like a little nugget you can share from the book that people might enjoy, as far as some things you've learned in your journey?
Oh man, a little nugget. I think that it's that, because it's frustrating to have to explain yourself over and over and over again to so many people. But the thing that is so important for me, like having to do that all my life, it gave me a lot more empathy for other people who have been marginalized, or they feel like an outcast because of the color of their skin, their sexuality, their gender, their beliefs, whatever. Because if people always tell me like, oh, you're diabetic, I thought you were normal. It's like, what am I to you now? And having to reconcile with that, and then also reconciling with the fact that, like, the people that ask me, the most politically correct, woke people in the world have asked me the most ignorant questions in the world about my diabetes. It hasn't happened on the show, don't worry. But I've encountered people like that throughout my life. And, I know that those people have the good intentions, and the people who ask ignorant questions or make ignorant assumptions about diabetes, they aren't necessarily coming from a place of hatred or fear or ignorance. It's just, they just don't know what they don't know. I didn't know anything about diabetes until I got it, and I had to live with it. So I think that that's the core of the book, is to tell people that, especially in this era where it's like us versus them, and, you're a racist or you're not, or, things like that. I hope that we can have conversations instead of like fights. You know what I mean? I think that many people make assumptions, and they don't necessarily know how to be sensitive to certain topics because they just haven't experienced things before. And then the more we have conversations, the more we can bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm.
That's a small enough nugget.
Yeah. Could you see anything with off-Broadway, Broadway, any sort of production that incorporates all of this?
Absolutely. I mean, that was the initial plan for the book. A good friend of mine, Richie McCall, is a Broadway actor. We met over in Florida, and he lives just down the street in the neighborhood. He introduced me to John Leguizamo's one-man show, and that was, he's just like, I know you do stand-up, but watch this. And I just said, wow, that's awesome. And he said, you should do that about your story about working with the kids and going to camp and following your dreams. And I said, that's a great idea. And so we were working on it on and off together a little bit. And he has his own one-man show called Me and Steppen, which is about his experience as an actor, modeling himself after the famous actor Steppen Fetchit. I'll let him tell his own story, but it's really great. I've seen it. And he was walking me through how to make it into production. But eventually I just, with the pandemic, I said, let me just write it down in prose and then see if I can translate it later. into a one-man show. And then that's how the book came about. I just, wrote it all out and I said, oh, this works. So let's put it out and then do the one-man show or whatever ASAP as soon as things open back up,
Yes. Who are you calling an ASAP? So we want to show people the book again. Whenever I see a line, I jump right in. You know how that is. You know how that is as a comedian, right? You see a line, you see an opportunity, go for it, because it might not come again.
Exactly. And when you're on stage, you're just ready for them. You know what I mean? You're in that rhythm and stuff like that.
You just respond. You just respond. Exactly. Yeah. Really cool stuff. And again, working with the kids too. I mean, that's so important. That's such a beautiful thing because, a lot of kids, they might be scared about what's going on, some of the physical sensations and the different things. I'm sure when you were 7 and all, you were like, why do I feel this way? And what are these, what's going on? And they noticed it early, which is good because then they were able to, diagnose and work through it early. So, and there's probably a lot of people, disadvantaged, whatever, don't have access to healthcare and everything, that they go through life and they don't find out till they're 35, all these things that they've been dealing with mentally, physically, why they couldn't play the sport, why their mood is going up and down, and why they're feeling ill. And that happens a lot, right?
Absolutely. And, I'd like to think that I'm like, this role model and stuff, but ironically, they taught me to be less afraid of it. I'll be honest with you. Like, I've always been terrified of needles. To this day, when I get a flu shot, I can't look. Oh, hey, Devontae, how's it going? That's one of my best friends from back home in Delaware. I was always been so scared of needles. And at camp, I learned how to give myself a shot at like 12. That's very late for us diabetics. And I remember one time I was trying to I was doing the site change in front of the kids. There's a video on my TikTok about me doing that as well. That's where you have to like put the pump site into the body basically. And I was showing them, I used to be so scared of needles, but it's no big deal. Watch this, boom. And they were just kind of like, all right, cool. Like, thanks for showing us, I guess. And then I see this kid, he's like 10 years old, diagnosed like 2 weeks ago. And he's looking at his arm like, where did I put this needle in? He just thinks it right in. I was just like looking at this guy and I was like, holy crap, like I need to get over myself. These kids are braver than I am. And the other moment, there was one time where a kid had to do a certain kind of test. You have to test if you have ketones in the bloodstream. So you have to pee on a stick and that can, test it for you. And so, at home, we don't always necessarily do that because, whether you have them or not, the treatment is the same. You take the insulin, you drink lots of water, and you rest. But at camp, we want to keep an eye on everything, have the records for the medical team. So we've got to keep the procedure going. And so he was, complaining, I wish we didn't have to pee on a stick right now. This is so annoying. I have to do it at home. And I said, yeah, dude. But, I wish we didn't have diabetes. That's the way it is. And he was like, I don't. I'm glad we had diabetes. I was like, what? He's like, if we didn't have diabetes, I would never have met you. I never met my best friend here. I would have never met my best friend there. My girlfriend, he's like 9 years old. So like, how does he have a girlfriend? But like, he's telling me all this. And I'm just like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Like I need to, embody that a little bit more for myself as well as the kids. You know what I mean? I felt really bad because I was like, am I being too honest with how cynical I can feel about diabetes sometimes? Am I, showing that too much and like, not showing enough of the hope and the levity and things like that? What's my advice for parents whose child has just been diagnosed? Yes, they are fearful. And, that was why in the book, I made sure that my mom was able to write a paragraph or two, actually a couple pages about what her experience was like. And because I know that it's so overwhelming, it was so overwhelming for her. But for those parents, I would say, number one, know that it's not your fault. It's going to be okay. You're going to do what you need to do. It's going to be hard, but it's going to make you and your kid stronger. And find a community. Find other parents to lean on, to ask questions, to trade ideas about like what works with fighting insurance, what pump do you like better? Here's this doctor in the area that's really great. That was how my mom was able to kind of get me into a good circle of endocrinologists. That's like a diabetes specialist. And she was able to learn a lot through other parents. And, to my mom's credit, she taught me everything I know about diabetes. And it was her, she would spend hours studying what is diabetes, how to manage it, what is, all these things. And then she taught me how to do those things. 9 years old, I was one of the first kids in the area to be on an insulin pump because my mom had gotten me on this study that she found out through talking to doctors, other parents, things like that. So I can't stress how much, whether you yourself are diabetic, you're the parent of one, you're the partner of one, finding a community of people is just going to be a world of difference in all sorts of ways, not just logistically, but like for me as a kid, finding that community, which I still consider like my family today, we look out for each other. It's just good to be able to relate to so many different people. Like every year at camp, like we stand up and they're like, all right, stand up if you're diabetic. Like everybody stands up. I'm like, holy crap, I'm not the only person with like an insulin pump and a tube sticking out of my body. And like, I finally don't feel weird. I can finally be myself here. And that's how I learned, like, oh, I can be funny. I can, just kind of practice that. And, if I didn't have that experience at camp, I don't think I ever would have gained the confidence to do what I do now and the gumption to go after what I'm going after now. So, and also like to advocate, because those kids are my family. Like, I would fight for them if they're like, oh, bedtime's earlier today. I'm like, no, my kids deserve it. They went to the pool on time, things like that. And, to think about some of the families that I've seen over the years and friends too, who struggle with healthcare, who, I feel like I was brainwashed as a kid. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, I guess some people don't take care of themselves because they're, they're lazy or they're not paying attention. But the reality is, it's like, if you don't have the resources, like I had resources as a kid, and, it makes a world of difference. And being able to see that really lit a fire under my butt to like really try to advocate for people who don't always have a voice. They don't speak the language. They don't know who to call. They don't have time because they're working 2 jobs to support, 3 kids and, 1 diabetic kid among them. You know what I mean? So it's, there's a lot, but it's so great to be in a community surrounded by so much love. That kid was right. It's like you meet amazing people through all this because we're all in it together.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, and it's the way you've been able to combine the comedy with all of this as well. I mean, the comedy sort of has its own, flavor to it, but then you've added in this uniqueness of dealing with diabetes and telling your journey and your story, and the book as well, which I'm sure, is something that touched so many people's lives of all different ages as you open up, as a public figure, opening up about your life, because a lot of times people they keep things in. So there'll be a lot of people that relate to you. And I'm sure you've heard that too from people, right? I relate, I connect. We heard some of those comments tonight from our viewers from around the world. That must make you feel good when you get that relatability from people, when you're opening up about your life and then all of a sudden they're opening up about theirs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's really great to have that exchange because, like, number one, I feel like I'm giving back to people who have given so much to me. But also, it's like when you give to somebody, they give to you, it creates like a harmony. You know what I mean? Like it's such and it's an honor to have people tell me that they relate to me, because as a kid and stuff like that, my role models were all sorts of people. You know what I mean? I feel like, and I was very like proud that like I could like do that, look up to so many different types of comedians and people and relate to them. And the more that I gain from so many different types of people, the more I'm just like, I want to be able to give that back to the whole world. So it's really great validation to know that, if somebody relates to me, it means what I'm doing is working. It's worth the pain so that somebody else doesn't have to go through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Absolutely. Who's the people that you've looked up to?
Oh God, the list goes on and on and on. I would say like the first diabetic person that I really got into their story was a football player named Jay Lewenberg, who wrote a book about how he was like an NFL player with diabetes and things like that. And then also Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who is a type 1 diabetic. And it was really good for me to see how differently they approach the disease. Because for me, it's like, oh my God, I'm terrified of needles. This is so frustrating. This is the worst thing in the world. For Jay, he got over it by having like an Olympian routine, and that's how he is. So he was able to adapt in that way. And Sonia Sotomayor is just this tough chick from the Bronx, so it doesn't bother her. But, you know what I mean? That's the least of her worries. So it was really interesting to learn those things from them. Michael Jordan is a huge influence for me, just because he's just this work ethic, this competitive edge, things like that. And then as like comedians, I always talk about Gerard Carmichael as being like one of my favorite comedians. He's like this guy that like few people have heard of, because I guess it's because he doesn't do like Conan O'Brien and all those kinds of shows. He actually had his own network show on NBC called The Carmichael Show. And basically that show was just all about, having a conversation. Usually it'd be like in the living room. And I can relate to this. My family's kind of the same way. We just have like conversations about politics and
that show was too short-lived. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah. He's very funny.
It was like watching theater on TV. I loved it. Yeah, I agree. Like it was like 2 or 3 seasons, right? Like
I don't even know if it was that long. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I met him once when he performed at the University of Delaware, and he was really nice. But the thing I loved about him the most, even before I had met him and afterwards, was that when he gets up on stage, I feel like, he's such a smart guy, self-made guy. Like he goes out to LA at 19 years old to study comedy just by doing it. Like he just quits his job, doesn't go to college, just bam, right there to LA, couch surfing until he makes it. I'm just like, respect. And what I love about him is that he always challenges the audience to think about things. He's not afraid to say, I'm going to go there with this joke, and if you don't like it, then this is me as an artist. And when I hear him in interviews, he talks about, he doesn't want to feel constrained to a tight 5. That was my goal at the beginning of the year. I was like, all right, I'm going to try to get on TV. I've been doing this for like 7 years. Let's give this a shot. But then the pandemic hit, and I thought, well, maybe this is a sign that I should be more like Gerard Carmichael and try to develop something that's authentic to me. And so that's when I started trying to integrate diabetes more into it, and challenging people with things like that. So he's definitely another top influence. Steve Irwin, I gotta say, just such a positive guy, just passionate, loving, fearlessly and shamelessly. You know what I mean? Right. And also I say Donald Glover, because he's just such a Renaissance man. And I love his stand-up. I love his TV show Atlanta. I think that's just so brilliant.
Did you like Carlin and those guys?
I like him. I like George Carlin. He's not my favorite. I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing, or maybe it's just like, I think what happened is that I discovered Carlin after I discovered everyone who was inspired by Carlin. You know what I mean? So then it's like when I saw Carlin for the first time, I was like, oh, this is really great, but I've seen it before. Right. But for like the classic comedians, definitely Richard Pryor. I just saw his documentary the other day, and like, oh my goodness, like he was like one of the first comedians to really like be vulnerable up on stage. Bernie Mac, all the kings of comedy. My dad would always be watching like Bernie Mac and all those guys. And I remember like one performance that Bernie Mac did in the early days, where he's just like, I'm not scared of y'all motherfuckers. And I'm like, wow, that charisma, the fact that you can have that kind of command over an audience. That's like, such
Cedric the Entertainer. He's funny too. Yeah.
Yes.
Really hilarious.
Every single comedian ever. And it's funny, like I listen to like Kings of Comedy on the one hand, and on the other hand, I'd be listening to like Blue Collar Comedy Tour, and then I'd be listening to, Jimmy Carr from England, or all sorts of people. So
do you have some more? You have some more comedy for us now to put smiles on everybody's faces? They're loving it.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, sure. I got some things for you guys. I wrote some more jokes about Delaware today, but I'll just do one that I've been doing for a while, which is, I think I am from Delaware. I think I mentioned that earlier in the show, but, I might as well be a foreign country, because Americans can never seem to point it out on a map. Delaware, some people say it's New England, some people say it's South, but, we're not New Jersey. That's all that matters. A lot of people think that Delaware was the first state to join the Union because it was so small. Truth is, Delaware was the first state to join the Union because they had nothing better to do. You guys may not know, the capital of Delaware is Walmart. And what I'm really surprised is that so many people, especially on the East Coast, we all have experienced Delaware. You're driving south on I-95, and then all of a sudden turn to your friend, hey, did we just drive through Delaware? I don't know. That's your experience.
There's the bridge.
And it's interesting. Joe Biden actually comes from Delaware.
Right.
I had met Joe Biden. This is based on a true story, but I met Joe Biden when I was about 14 years old. I was running for class president, and I was promising everybody, you know, free pizza and unlimited recess, and that's why I got elected. But Joe Biden and all the other senators, they had the race around the same time as us, and I got to meet him. And I don't remember what Joe Biden said to me, but I got to say that was the best massage I ever got in my life.
Not to be confused with message.
He did try to whisper something in my ear, but I don't remember what it was.
Take me to Walmart.
Yes. Let's go buy the corn's on sale.
That is funny. That is funny.
I got one more story for you, if you want. This is
sure, light, levity, and levity on this show.
When on Statue of Liberty, there's like two legs of security, and people sometimes get caught up. So I always like to tell them this one about how when I was in Spain, I'm learning Spanish, and I think that I know enough to tell the security about my insulin pump and warn them that it's going to set off the X-ray machine. But in reality, after taking about 8 years of advanced Spanish, all I knew was like the capital of Ecuador and like how to count to 10. So I go to the guy. I had to Google Translate it. And when I go to him, I said, "Disculpe, señor, no puedo pasar porque tengo una bomba." And for those of you who don't know, bomba in some countries means pump, but in most countries it means bomb. So thanks, Google Translate.
Yeah.
They're getting out the handcuffs, and I'm just like, whoa, soy diabético, soy diabético.
Yeah.
He's like, "You don't look diabetic, amigo." And so, but that was how I learned Spanish, because I had a lot of time in prison.
Because you were you were locked up. That is funny. So the audiences, they really receive it, they get it, they laugh, and that's the cool thing, right? I mean, you're putting smiles on people's faces, and especially now with everything we've been going through the last several months, you know what I mean? Comedy can really be comedy, and the arts and music, all of it is needed now more than ever, right? I'm sure you've probably, been tapping into a lot of that just to get through yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, I want to practice as much as I can. You see, I'm a little rusty right now, but the big thing for me transitioning, doing virtual comedy like this is like, when I'm in a room with people, I can feel the audience. I can build off their energy. I can kind of, get a sense of like what they're in the mood for just by being physically present with somebody. And like online, it's, what do you do? But I think that the good thing is that so many comedians are releasing specials and things like that you can watch that with people. You can watch something virtually. And there's also a lot of people creating, new content, translating their sets into little bits that I can put on TikTok, like the Bomba, the Insulina story. I tell that one on tours. I tell it on TikTok. I did the Joe Biden joke on TikTok. That got a lot of mixed reviews and things like that. You know what I mean? But, I'm not trying to be political, just trying to, make a good little joke about things, but all in good fun, no hard feelings. It's interesting to see how you can translate a live performance or bits of it into a completely different art form, I guess, which is like these fast-paced jump cuts of the TikTok and things like that.
Do you ever wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and think of something and then write it down quickly so you don't lose it?
Yes, all the time. I'm about to go catch a subway, and I thought, no, just thought of something. Let me write it down.
Hold the train.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, I got to write this one down. Let me get out my pencil. The worst is in the shower, because you can't take your phone in there. You can't take, your notepad. And there have been times where I'm practicing my set in the shower, and I think of something really great, and then I forget it by the time I get off and get dried off and everything. So, but yeah.
That time you're all wet.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Let's get some waterproof paper.
Right.
Just a notes. Put in like a plastic bag or something like that, and just like get a magnet on the wall or something.
one of my friends who was always writing scripts and everything, but it was really interesting about the way he did it. He was very creative. He always had like these inventions, really amazing things that he built and designed and created in his basement, but he never brought them to completion. He designed incredible things, but didn't have the gumption to go out there and market and sell himself, and was fearful of the rejection and all of that as well. So there's all of these unfinished, amazing things he created. He used to also wake up sometimes out of a dead sleep with incredible genius happening, and he'd have to go right to his typewriter or computer and just start typing, and it would be something like, a screenplay or or something. But it was really amazing. He would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he would say he was more creative when the house was quiet, when his family was sleeping, when there was no, like, he didn't have to go to work, the phone wasn't ringing, there weren't the craziness and responsibilities and pressure of life. So he could really be open and creative at like 2, 3 in the morning, because everything was silent. The world was shut off, so his mind could open up and he could be free to be creative, which is kind of cool. Do you have that happen too?
Absolutely. I mean, whenever my blood sugar is high, like physically, I don't feel too great. I am not the most pleasant person to be around. So you have to wait it out. So I either take a nap or I start writing. And also, sometimes if I can't sleep at night, like writing, whether it's a screenplay or a bunch of jokes, that's some of the best times to do that. But for me personally, I feel like if I'm in motion, whether I'm on the subway, that's usually for some reason where I just am able to write a lot of things. Today I was out at Prospect Park taking a walk, and I think and walk at the same time. The other day I was just like shooting a basketball and then writing jokes as I was doing that. So for me, like, I find that, as long as I'm managing, somebody commented earlier, I'm a very high energy person. That's definitely true. So I have to kind of keep those flames down a little bit by exercising, moving, being in motion, and then also writing. But definitely, like, having distractions kills creativity for sure.
Absolutely. He would write those screenplays and everything, but again, he would never submit them. And then like a year and a half later, a movie would come out or a show would come out, and it would be almost the duplicate of what he wrote and kept in the drawer and never pursued. Did you ever do that? Did you ever not fulfill something because you didn't think it was going to work or was going to fly? They weren't going to get it. You put it aside, and then there it is up on the screen, or there it is on stage, or there you hear somebody saying it, and you're like, now why didn't I just get that out there?
Yeah, there's been a couple short-term videos. And this happens to every comedian. Somebody tells jokes. I was thinking of that. I remember one in particular. There was a script that I had written in college, and it was more of like a college humor type of script, and it got great feedback back then. And my friends were willing to produce it, but I said, well, I just want to maybe, but I just submitted to this contest, and I think it might do well in this contest. So maybe just wait until I get a decision from them. And didn't work out with the contest, and they didn't end up producing it because I said to wait. And then by the time it was ready to go up again, it was kind of like, oh, I'm too old for this joke now type of thing. You know what I mean? And it was one of those things where it's like, if I had just put it out there when it was ready to go, then, it probably would have made a splash at the time, while I was still in college. My dad always talks about General Patton's quote, roughly, an imperfect plan executed today is better than a perfect plan executed sometime in the future. You know what I mean? And so, my mom told me about that, and that's what got me to produce all these vulnerable videos, because I'm like, oh my God, my hair's all over the place. I've been quarantining. I got this long beard. Like, I'm just in my room. I don't have a key light, and it was just like, just do it. Just talk. People want authenticity. They don't want the clean, immaculate studio vibes all the time. They want more conversations like this. You know what I mean? So,
although I still can't believe you came on my show without a key light.
I got one up here on the ceiling. How am I going to fit one in these four corners right here?
Nobody comes on my show without a key light, especially me.
setting a good example there, Tim.
Yeah. And Gilligan, of course. Gilligan.
Of course.
He likes his key lights.
It looks like he has one, yeah. I mean, maybe does the hat glow?
Yeah, I was going to say, right? Cool.
Oh, yeah. He looks really well lit there.
This was sent actually by Bob Denver's wife, Gilligan's wife in real life, Dreama Denver. Yeah.
Nice.
She was a guest on the show a couple of weeks ago. Aloha, Jim Dreama Denver. And it's Bob Denver who played Gilligan's wife, who's an actress, producer. She owns a radio station in West Virginia, and sent this along and saw these things on set and said, hey, you know, you need something else on the set, and sent this along. Kind of cool, huh?
Yeah, that's really cool. You must get a lot of great, treasures from all of the guests that you have on your show.
It's amazing. The majority of the things come from, you know, how much stuff we've taken off the walls of the house for the set.
Really?
I said, you know, if we ever change the name of the show, just call it Off the Wall. Because, you know, a lot of the things are like, you know, we've got a star that was hanging on a wall. I mean, we got all these things that you know, the walls are becoming bare the more that this show grows.
Is it the new decor, like no key light and then just bare walls?
Just bare walls. That's it, right? The bare minimum. That's funny. And again, I'm a big believer. You got to laugh. You got to find the joke. You got to laugh. You got to laugh. And that's what it's all about. And you're doing a great job of that, Jason. It's really cool having you here on the show, and to really, they're happy you came here to Lovetti Hall. You know, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of the comments that have come through. And when you watch this again, maybe in the archives at YouTube, you'll see all the great comments. Thanks for coming on the show and really opening up your life, sharing it, sharing some of your comedy and your levity with us as well, something we all need now more than ever. And you're welcome back anytime you're thinking about, they all love Gilligan. Everybody loves Gilligan. And off the wall. Jennifer says, thanks, Jason and Jim. So what's a day like for you, before we wrap, what's a day like for you now, since the comedy clubs, the venues, the theaters, you know, a lot of performing artists are sort of in a holding pattern for a while, 2021, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things you're doing? I know we mentioned it earlier, but as far as what's a typical day like for you now?
Well, typical day, I wake up, I try to get some exercise in just to kind of, you know, clear my head a little bit. I am a freelance writer, so I do a lot of different writing projects for a lot of different types of clients. So I take care of those assignments. And then I also—
What kind of writing? And what kind of clients?
Mostly right now I'm working with the Classic T-shirt company. They do 100% organic T-shirts. And they're a really great company that's all based in the U.S. And when they work with people from overseas, they pay them a fair wage, and everything is 100% sustainable. So that's really exciting. I do the SEO content marketing for like their website and things like that. So it's, you know, it's not as creative as the storytelling, but it's still, you know, something that keeps me occupied. And I also spend some time writing. I'll do an Instagram live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I practice my set, just practice. My goal now is to have like a 30-minute set that I can take to a rooftop or to a park or something like that, and start getting some more independent shows going. But I'm still auditioning a lot. You know, it's just voice acting instead of like getting on the subway, running to Midtown and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's just all virtual nowadays. So, you know, I send in an audition tape and, you know, hope to hear back from some people. Had some really cool things going on with that, but just keeping busy, you know, social distancing. Yeah. Social
distancing. You got to be 6 feet from people and 10 feet away from the refrigerator.
That's a really good one there.
I'll let you use that, and then we can split it. We can split the proceeds.
That sounds great. You know, I was about to say I want to steal that, but it's like taboo to steal jokes. But
not according to Milton Berle and Henny Youngman. They stole it all. Back then, they all stole from each other. Jennifer Barry says, thanks, Jason and Jim. We have a lot of, there's a lot of levity on the show. The viewers are I'm very viewer centric. Like, you work with the audience. I do it too. And even in my professional work in television and radio, I've always, you know, brought the viewers in, the listeners in, the audience in. So they're saying wonderful time. Christine says, Jim started the show, you know, with all those characters. It's always off the wall. Literally.
Yeah.
Kathleen in New York City and Queens. Thank you very much for joining us, Kathleen. She thanks Jason and Jim. Renee in Iowa says, thank you, Jason.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And Wozniak, Jacksonville, Florida. Thank you, Jim and Jason, for an awesome evening. We got hearts and claps, all kinds of cool stuff. Christopher Joseph, viewer of the week, Christopher. Another great show with Jason and Jim. Matt H. Right, viewer of the week. It's only a joke. This is comedy night. You're not viewer of the week. We were only kidding. We're only kidding, Christopher. You're not viewer of the week. No, of course you are. Then he won't call WJR in Detroit to tell them. Matt H says, watching on YouTube at Jim Master TV, it's good to see him, Matt. Bob Denver was at his wedding. He had Gilligan at his wedding. Cool.
If that's my dad, I think, I wonder if that's true.
It's probably a guy that, worked at the post office named Bob Denver. He came. A buddy from school or something, right? Merlin says, you take care. She's watching on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. We encourage everybody to subscribe to the channel and share the YouTube channel. We love that. Thanks, Jason. Wishing you everything.
Thank you.
That's great. Wishing you everything. Julie, best of everything. Kathy Short, Jason, it's been a pleasure to listen to your stories tonight. Fabulous. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks, Jason. I learned a lot. Stay safe and keep laughing. Very important.
Yes.
Watching in Australia. Thanks so much, Jason and Jim. Yeah, good day. Good day. That's right. Thanks so much to Jason and Jim from Australia. Fantastic. There's we have quite a few viewers in Australia, New Zealand, and really all over the world. And there's one particular one. Her name is Eileen Barker. She's been following me on Facebook for years. And then when I launched the show 17 weeks ago, she'll pop in every once in a while. And I love this expression. And she would just say it, generically, but then we all picked up on it. I'm like, wow, that worked. I love that word and the way you're using it. She would say, like, have a ripper of a time, or this is a ripper of a show. And I'm like, I like that. And you know who would know that too is our mutual friend Clara Francesca from Melbourne. Yeah, a ripper of a time. I had a ripper of a time with her too. She's amazing. She's wonderful.
Yes, she is.
We love Clara. I was telling her that you're on today.
She coached me in my Australian accent, actually. Clara did.
Really? Clara did?
She did, yeah. We were in this show. We met at an Australian bushfire benefit show, and then we did another project where I had to do an accent in Australian, and she coached me through it. It's really great work.
Right through. Yeah, that's cool. Wishing you everything good in life. You're a joy to listen to. And Jason, do you like, this is a question she asks of every guest. So big question. Do you like the mountains or the ocean?
I like both, but I have to give the ocean the win on this one. In honor of my Zadie, he always told me to love the ocean. So,
and Delaware, I think when you grow up near a coast, like I grew up in New York on Long Island, and we would always come up to Connecticut and Massachusetts. I mean, all coasts. And I'm somebody, you gotta drag me out of the ocean. I swim it, surf it, boogie board it, kite board it, sail it, whatever it is. The ocean is like a go-to place for me, but I love the mountains too. But I knew that question was coming. If I stretched it out long enough, that question was going to come. And now when you answer it, Jen is zen.
Jen is zen.
Jen is zen. I knew Jason would like the 10 feet from the refrigerator. That's it. It's very topical considering tonight's topic too, right? It's full circle.
Right. I'll have to get a bigger apartment so I can put the fridge 10 feet away from me. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. Well, Jason, this was cool. It was awesome, my friend, to have you on the show. And I'm glad everything worked out. And, you keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting the good fight. Keep putting smiles on people's faces, kids, and all the way up to senior. And thanks for sharing your story and levity with us. You're welcome back into Levity Hall at the Jim Master Show Live anytime. It'll be cool to have you back, and I hope to catch you at one of the shows once things open up as well. It'll be cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been great. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. I hope you enjoyed the time with me and the gang as much as I have with you.
Definitely, definitely. It's great to get all this feedback. And you built such a great audience right here. You know what I mean? Like to be able to engage like this. This is like the closest thing I've had to a live performance in such a long time. So it's been such a great conversation and stuff. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. A lot of people have been saying that too. A lot of, especially artists that we've had on the show, they've been saying the same thing. It's they've wanted to open up and express, and not just perform, their talent, but also share their talent, but also express, because they haven't been able to do that. So I'm glad this venue has set it up for that. And I've been doing the same thing, as a TV and radio personality host. I've been sharing elements of my world too with the viewers, which it's a beautiful thing. It's again, it's like full circle. All the audience here has been sharing elements about their life as well. I think you got this down as far as who Matt H is. Jason's mom will verify.
Oh, hi, Mom.
So Jason's mom verifies that Bob Denver was at the wedding.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Well, you learn something new every day on the Jim Masters Show Live. I always say that.
That's true.
That's it. We're all teaching each other. We're all teachers in life, right, Jason? We're all teachers.
Exactly. My mom's probably told me this at some point, and I forgot, just like everything else,
Well, look, and she's verifying. Look.
Oh.
He crashed the wedding.
He crashed the wedding?
Gilligan crashed the wedding.
Gilligan, how could you?
Gilligan, did you crash the wedding? Wow.
I had no idea.
Maybe he's your uncle, or who knows?
That would be really cool.
How amazing is that I show as one of our cast of characters, the Gilligan, collector doll here, and or bobblehead that came from his wife, who was on our show as a guest. And then the folks say, guess what? He crashed our wedding.
It's a small world, I guess. Maybe he's a long lost uncle.
I was going to say, how did he crash the wedding if he was still stuck on Gilligan's Island?
Yeah.
With Professor Howell and, on a 3-hour tour and all that.
Maybe it was a virtual. He Zoom crashed the wedding or something. I don't know.
Devontae says, so proud of you, Jason. You motivate me every day. Love you, brother. You've known Devontae in Delaware for a long time?
Yeah, it's been, like 20 years, I think. Yeah, I know him from the neighborhood. He was like my one friend in the neighborhood, and a lot of good memories. He's like brother, my family, you know what I mean? And
when we're kids and teenagers, and maybe even like in the 20s, it's always, we have to have quantity. Got to have all these friends and hang out with everybody, like in college and high school or whatever. And then you realize if you just have 1 or 2 or 3 salt of the earth people,
yeah,
that's what it's really all about. People that when there's a problem or you just want to talk, they answer the phone, and when they need you answer the phone, and it's an automatic. And that comes with time. You realize all that. So it's cool that you have Devontae rooting for you like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, he had such a story that I was able to share his story with a lot of people. When I first came to New York, I was teaching in inner city schools. And Devontae, his mom lives in Chester near Philadelphia. His dad lived in the neighborhood I grew up in. And Devontae was making music, and like before he went into college and things like that, there was a state of emergency because of gang violence in Chester. And what Devontae did was, with a bunch of other prominent rappers of the time, they got together and they did like a barbecue show. Like they perform. It was for the community. Everybody came together, and then because of that concert, there was able to be peace. They removed the state of emergency, and that was just such a great story that I could share with the kids in New York. I'm coming in there, this white guy I had glasses and like a tie and all that kind of stuff. And Mrs. Elston, she was my principal in middle school and my boss when I was a substitute teacher. And that was a story that I was able to share with those students. Yes, I like Rodney Dangerfield a whole lot.
Yeah, me too. There's a ton of his, it's the family or what have you, has a ton of his stuff on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Carson appearances and everything else. He just was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I love his movies too. They're really great.
Caddyshack and all the other. Yeah. He would never get any respect. Bob Denver Bobblehead nodded yes. Funny. Thanks for all you do to give back, Jason, which is
thank you.
Stuff. Jason, I don't know if you still have that water bottle there, but we always toast to the audience in the beginning when I start the show, and then we toast to our guests as well. So thanks for coming on the Jim Master Show Live, my friend.
Thank you.
Cling.
Thank you for having me. Cling.
Absolutely. This looks fancy, right? It's just Arnold.
With the fancy there.
It's just Arnold Palmer lemonade iced tea.
This is just a black cherry cough medicine flavored seltzer right here.
Yeah, it's like cough medicine. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the comedian George Burns said that he enjoyed your comedy tonight. Let's see if we can get him in here to say hello to you.
Thanks, George.
Can you do George Burns's voice? Say goodnight, Gracie.
I haven't listened to it enough to do it. I don't want to disrespect him. You know what I mean? Give me enough. The next time I'm on your show, I'll do George.
Do George. That's right. You do George.
My homework.
That's it. You got it. Everybody's saying cheers and cool stuff. All right, my friend, this was awesome. Would you believe this is like almost 2 hours and 11 minutes or so? Time flies, right? We try to make a comfortable, inviting atmosphere where it doesn't feel like 2 hours. It feels like maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes, if that. And then you look at the clock, you're like, wow, that just flew by because it's conversational.
Yeah. It feels just like that. Even when I watch your shows, a lot of times, I have it in the background or I'm just like watching the guests. It's like, I almost feel like I'm there in the room. You know what I mean? Just kind of listening. It's exactly what you want it to be. You know what I mean?
Exactly right.
Yeah. I felt like 45 minutes. I can't believe I'm looking at the clock now and just noticing it now. You know what I mean?
I know, it's funny, right? Yeah. Well, you take care and hello to your parents.
My mom and dad.
And that's it. When mom, dad gives thumbs up, then you know everything is good. Hey, my folks, they're in Florida. They moved from New York, from Long Island to Florida, and they're always watching. My sister and brother-in-law, the family's always watching and all of that. Oh yeah, there's that word. We had some of the guys who were friends of mine from my years. I worked with public television, PBS for a long time. And, I do all this work professionally in TV and radio. We had the guys from Celtic Thunder on, and they were performing and everything. And their word that they use in Ireland, you've probably heard of this word, but the spelling is different. Thank God. But it means, like a jovial time, a cool time, a good time. We had a good time. So the word is, because they'll say it too, and a lot of people in Ireland will say it, and Jennifer's saying it here, having a lot of crack tonight.
Yes. I knew that word from Conor McPherson's plays and stuff like that. Conor McPherson and Irish humor in general. It's great.
Mom says hi. Your mom, Earl. Crack. We made sure that when the lads from Celtic Thunder, my buddies, and even Chloe and some of the folks from Celtic Woman, they were saying crack. I said, okay, folks, let me just, here in America, let me just explain what they're saying, that so we don't end up in the National Enquirer that Jim Masters and so did crack that night. they had a lot of crack on the field last night. I mean, it's
that was the first thing I thought of too.
It means good times.
Oh yeah. It was a great interview. I think it was last Sunday we had the Celtic Thunder on there. I loved their music before seeing your show, Celtic Woman too.
Yeah, and it was Neil Byrne. Yeah, Neil Byrne was on. He was on his couch. He played the guitar and everything. And what was really cool, and we have coming up this Sunday, we got Paul Byram also, and then Colm Keegan the following. Our show starts at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific live. When he started in Ireland, it was midnight. So by the time we were done, it was like 1, 2, 2:30, and 3 in the morning. So, but they wanted, I've known him for a long time, the guys from the group, and Ryan Kelly was the week before, a lot of people watching that. And they just, he said, it didn't even feel like, it felt like we were in each other's living room or something. It didn't even feel like we chatted, and it's like 2, 3 in the morning.
Right. Yeah, it's like those conversations that just keep on going into the night, We've
got another jokester here. I crack up laughing every time. Crack.
Here come the puns. Jen is Zen.
Jen is Zen. Jen is Zen. She knows you picked ocean over mountains. She's good. She'll sleep tonight now.
Okay.
She will sleep tonight. You didn't realize, that your story had a lot of extra twists to it, and it involved mountains and oceans.
Yeah. It's another mountain to climb, I guess.
See the shining sea. All right, my friend Jason, you take care. This was really cool. Lots of good crack tonight.
Thanks so much. There it is.
She's double Zen. You take care, and our goodbyes take forever too.
It's like in my family, we call it Hewitt goodbye. This fits right in.
Yeah, where's that hook? The hook that they used to pull people off stage. Fade to black. Yeah, fade to black. That's it. You take care, and she does crack up. Look what we've started, Jason. Jim and Jason.
Yeah, we've done it. The Lovities and the Lovities on crack, I guess, or having a crack.
These Lovities are definitely on crack. That's it. It's good to end on a high note with lots of laughs, right? You gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta. It's so good. Yeah, mind, body, and soul. Absolutely. Well, you take care. This was cool. It was awesome having you on the show, and we'll
really great being here. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll talk again soon. And thanks for being a viewer of the show too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. It's a great show. I love tuning in. And my dad had said, "Oh yeah, I heard of Jim Masters." I was like, "Yeah, it's so great, right?" Like, we're all very excited, and it's just so great to be here. So thanks for having me. I'd love to be on again anytime.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll get together. We'll break bread one of these days, and in person. We get past all this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jennifer says, we Irish wave goodbye until we can't see the person anymore. That's it. Marilyn says good night. She's in Wichita, Kansas.
Nice.
So we got folks all over the place.
Oh, that's incredible. And thank everybody so much for the feedback too. It keeps me going.
Cool. Yeah, I like to show the viewers the feedback. I like to see the feedback, and the guests see the feedback as well. And we got some really cool stuff here in the can tonight. All right, Jason, you take care. Thanks for all this time. It was really awesome.
Yeah, and, thank you.
We will see you again soon. And it was a pleasure.
Likewise.
Don't end on a high. Insulin is too expensive.
I'm selling that one too.
That's it. I told you we were going to have fun tonight, folks. Fun with the inspirational story. Fun. I mean, something. It's every night is something different on this show, and that's what I like. That's the way life should be. Renee says Iowa. Renee says Iowa. No, she doesn't say Iowa. She says bye in Iowa. I sent this show up to WJR, the Paul W. Smith show. So I guess that station, WJR in Detroit, had mentioned this show, the Jim Masters show, on air in Detroit. So that was cool. I appreciate the station doing that.
Nice, yeah.
Cool stuff. All right. You take care. We'll chat again soon, my friend. Thanks for being with us on the show. It was a regular riot, like Ralph Cramden would say.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye now. Oh, Jennifer says my sides hurts from laughing.
Oh,
that's it.
I was about to click it. See ya.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye now. Cool, huh? A lot of fun, a lot of ha, a lot of levity. And amazing the connection with Bob Denver, huh? Is that a small world where he was at the wedding of his parents? Really cool stuff. As I mentioned, there was going to be a lot of levity and fun, but also there was that inspirational story too about the type 1 diabetes. And a lot of people are saying they learned a lot of different things about diabetes and about everything that he does, which was really cool. So there was sort of like an educational component, an inspiring component, entertaining component to tonight. And I like that because this show, again, is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series. So there's something different, something for everybody, not the same old, same old. You know, if you turn this on tonight, it'll be different tomorrow. It was different last night, different topics, different things. And that's what I like. Good stuff. And once again, we will do the official While everybody's still here, the official, since Christopher wasn't with us last night as long as we did it at the end of last night's show, the viewer of the week on the Jim Masters show. Congratulations to Christopher Joseph in Ohio. Thanks for being such a faithful and loyal viewer and fan of the Jim Masters show. We salute you, Christopher Joseph. Christopher Joseph actually has been following me well before we started the Jim Masters show live. He's been on my Facebook pages, following. He's been on, he's with the New Love Express as well, and much more as an entertainer too. And Instagram, Twitter. He's followed me in my TV and radio work for a long time. And then hopped right on as a viewer immediately. He's been with us, I believe, since day one. I think Christopher has been with the show very close to, if not day one, which is like almost 120 shows ago, which is really amazing. So congratulations. We salute Christopher Joseph in Ohio, the viewer of the week right here on the Jim Masters show live. Congratulations to Christopher. That is the official congratulations. You're very welcome. Lovely to all tonight. Yeah. Yes, we will have him back, Jennifer. Really awesome guy. Have him back. My pleasure. I love all the guests that I have pop on. Really, really good stuff. Great show. I like the variety. It keeps me coming back. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. Cool to hear. Yes. He can watch this on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. All of these shows are archived on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. So if you want to see this show again, or you want to see any of the shows in our illustrious series here, if you missed an episode, want to watch it again, all the past episodes right there. And click subscribe on the YouTube channel and the notification bell too, so you'll keep abreast of all the shows upcoming. You'll keep abreast of shows you might have missed, and other content that we're loading up. A lot of content. That channel has been there since what, 2007, 6 or something. It's been there a long time, and we've added so much content to the Jim Masters TV YouTube channel. All right, a couple more comments coming in, and congratulations from Julie, who had some beautiful comments tonight. Great stuff, and really beautiful comments, Julie. I know this conversation really impacted you. Yes, Christopher's been here since day one, so that's why we're excited to have him as our viewer of the week, and we will toast him. Here you go, Christopher Joseph in Ohio. We toast you. Now, you can watch any other show on the internet. You can put on television, radio. Where are you going to hear this? Where are you going to hear, Christopher in Ohio, that you are the viewer of the week of this broadcast of this show? That's something a little unique we do here. We celebrate our viewers as much as we do life and art and comedy and all the cool stuff. You can't believe it. I know. It's like being on The Price is Right, isn't it? Congratulations. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Now you're getting everybody celebrating you, Christopher, as well. Glad you guys are here. We have some amazing guests. Tomorrow, we have a legend, iconic actor, animation voiceover actor. He's done voices of Tom and Jerry, Donald Duck, and so much more. An incredible performer. This is Sam Quasman. He's all excited. He's going to be with me live exclusively tomorrow on the show, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. He's going to be doing the voices. We've got all kinds of video. We've got a lot of cool stuff. He's a legend in the industry. We're so excited to have him here. He is live and direct on the West Coast. And so he will be here tomorrow. That's really, really cool. We love that. And hello to all the lovelies all around the world. Absolutely. We agree with that. And we also have coming up on Thursday, we're going to have a lot of great music. We have the incredible violinist and recording artist, Alex Depew. He's going to be here. And what he can do with that violin. I worked on a public television special with David Garrett, who is extraordinary in what he can do with a violin. And Alex is extraordinary as well what he can do with the violin, rock, country, jazz. I mean, you name it. And he's just incredible. And the energy, it's going to be really a cool show. Lots of good music, great conversation. That is on this Thursday. Alex DePew will be here. Incredible, accomplished violinist. And then Friday, Bill Foster is going to be here. Bill Foster is a legendary actor and producer and director. He's going to be talking about the industry and a lot of other cool things as well. Then on Saturday, Pepe Castro. He is he's an music industry legend. He has written songs for Cher and you name it. So many people have performed his music. He's also a singer. He's a musician. He's been a part of many groups as well. He's also a personal friend, and he's a real spirited guy. Pepe Castro. You're going to love him, and you're going to know his music as well. You'll recognize it. He's on Saturday night, and then on Sunday, going We Irish again with Paul Byram. He's going to be here exclusively. He was originally with Celtic Thunder, and he has his own brilliant solo career. He is a renowned tenor in Ireland. I've interviewed him multiple times on public television as well. He's fantastic. He'll be here on Sunday. And September 24th, the Voices of Classic Soul, the legends from the Temptations, Platters, Drifters, and Four Tops are going to be here on my birthday. Really cool. September 24th, they will be here, the Voices of Classic Soul. We thank once again our fantastic guest opening up about his life. And very inspiring and funny as well, putting a spin on it. Jason Hewitt, really cool stuff. He's been doing this for a long time, and we're very happy to have him here on the show. And again, he really opened up, and that's a beautiful thing, and inspiring children and so many others. There's the book too, if you want to get the book as well. Really cool having him on the show. Comments coming in. The Irish tenors are the best. You need a calendar. LOL. Cool. Yeah, we post the events on the Facebook page, upcoming shows, and also on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. Alex is amazing. Yes, I've been watching his material and can't wait to have him on Thursday. I believe he's going to be playing live as well. You know, it depends on the artist. Sometimes an artist won't do something live if they're not backed by their musicians, or they're not in a place where they feel, you know, their voice is going to sound great because of the acoustics of the room they're in, or whatever it may be, or a musician or what have you. So really, we leave it up to the artists if they're going to perform live first. We always encourage them to, because there's nothing like a live exclusive performance, you know, with all of us together. So he's going to be with us and playing live as well. You opened for the Temptations and Four Tops, the Masonic Auditorium in 1991. That's really, really cool. Violin, yeah, but what he can do with the violin, whew, he's a rock star. Really incredible. Christine says Jason was inspirational, educational, brought us laughter. Such a great combination. Nice evening together. Absolutely. The audio in the beginning was a little funky. And again, I think sometimes it might have to do with the system or the setup that the guest may have. Not sure, because everything is perfect now. And I think as time went on, it started getting a little better. Who knows? The internet, weather, Wi-Fi, crazy stuff. It all works out in the end. Thank you for your hard work in bringing us such a fantastic variety of shows each and every week. Thank you very much, and each and every night as well. Thank you, Christine. We appreciate that. And thanks for the sharing and the links and posting and tagging and all the wonderful work that you do as well. We really appreciate that. Thanks, Jim, for a fun night. Appreciate you. Well, you're Zen. He made you Zen by answering that famous question of yours, whether it's the mountain or the ocean that he likes. Let's see if we have a couple more here. I don't want to miss anybody. Kathleen Walker. Love you, Kathleen, as well. She's got the hearts. She's got everything there. Love it. A toast to all the Lovities. Good night. You got it. Absolutely. Great night, everybody. Good stuff. Thank you for a fun night. Appreciate you. I met Alex when he was the fiddle player for the country artist Chris Cagle. That's right. It's going to be a great night on Thursday. Absolutely. Looking forward to that. Tomorrow night, too, Sam Quasman, legend, voice of so many characters, animation characters, Tom and Jerry, and so many others. He's here tomorrow. Don't forget to relax, to breathe, take care of one another, love one another. We always say this at the end of every show, especially now more than ever, we can really use to follow this word, right? We always have a good time. I can only tell you how much energy and time goes into this show. It may look like we just throw the lights on and like I'm usually wired by the time the show is done, hungry, and then don't go to bed till like 2 or 3 in the morning. I'm going to try to do it earlier. The other night, remember the other night I had posted going to bed early, first time in months. But I think during all of this, the last few months, a lot of people have been staying up late. I know Christine Clifton stays up late sometimes as well. Yeah. Good stuff. You relax. You relax. Yeah, Larry Hankin, Christine, amazing. He called me right after the show. Then he called me the next day because he watched the whole show. He absolutely loved it. He said he's never had an interview like that before. To that extent, seeing all those photos that we had when we went down memory lane, he had said nobody's ever really done that. He absolutely loved it. He actually said, I want to come back anytime. And he says, if you ever have a guest cancel last minute, call me and I'll come on the show. That's veteran actor Larry Hankin saying that. Seinfeld, Friends, Escape from Alcatraz. If you didn't see that show, folks, it's on YouTube. Check it out at Jim Masters TV. Also, Landau Eugene Murphy Jr., winner of America's Got Talent, the 6th season. That's a great episode. Mike Reese. Did you see the episode with Mike Reese, who's been a writer for The Simpsons ever since they started, and for The Critic? He just won a Peabody. Congratulations. Yeah, really cool stuff. Mike Reese, great interview there. Paul Green, of course, another fabulous friend I've known for years. We've worked at Carnegie Hall together, and he's done a wonderful interview on the show. I invited him on, and we had a great time. And just a lot of cool people, really cool people. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for another great show, Jim. You as well. Have a wonderful evening. You too. Jim, why don't you eat dinner before the show? I try to, but sometimes I don't know what it is. The 2 hours between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock, by the time the show is getting ready to go, it goes by in a New York minute. So I do try to eat either a late lunch that'll fill me up, or try to get dinner in. But if I run out of time and it's getting close to the time, because usually what happens is we get together in the online studio with our guests at about 6:45. We're in there about 15 minutes before. Sometimes the guests, if they're trying to figure it out and they, didn't see an email or something, and there's been a couple where they got on like, if we don't start exactly at 7, it's usually sometimes because the guest is, trying to figure something out, or they muted themselves, or their mic isn't working, or, like I said, like with television, radio, and stage productions and everything else, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes before we flip the switch and everything is, hi, here we are. So much craziness can happen. And so much craziness can happen during things as well. But it's all in how you handle it, right? Larry Hankin was awesome, wasn't he? All of these guests are fantastic. I've gone back and watched past episodes as well, because I'm adept at listening. I'm a good listener. That's how I'm able to go back and forth with conversations with everybody. But sometimes I like to watch my work doing this, but even my professional work on television and radio, the other work that I do, I like to watch some of it so I can watch it as a viewer or a listener, listen to it as a listener, watch it as a viewer, and detach that it's me doing it. We've talked about that on the show with some of the guests. So I'll watch it, not to say, hey, look at me, look how good I am. I'll watch it and I'll listen to it look for little nuances, and try to enjoy it as you guys do, as the viewer, as well. And that's kind of cool to watch stuff like that. And sometimes I end up laughing at something I said, or the guest said, or something that happened, or something you guys said. That's what it's all about. Sing on Sundays. The viewer of the week. Night, Jim. Be well, sleep well. You as well. Larry is fantastic. Relax, release, and let go. You got it. Absolutely. And I might be the star of the show if I don't bring this out. Folks usually say, where's the star? Where's the blue star? Here it is. If I don't do this, I don't think we could wrap the show, right? I might be the host and the producer, but you guys are. You, and you. You guys are the stars. All right, gang. We're going to wrap. We're never at a loss for words here on this show, huh? You guys take care. You be well. You have hair is still getting really long. No hat tonight. Hatless. It was a hatless show. Linda Odell. Where's Linda? She usually comments on that. She likes the hat or hats. A Star is Born. Thanks, Jim. You got it. Gang, thanks for joining us here on the show. All the lovity, all the cool times. It was really awesome. I really hope you enjoy this series of entertainment, lifestyle, and talk on the Jim Masters Show Live that we present to you every single night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, live worldwide on YouTube at Jim Masters TV and Facebook at Jim Masters TV. I really hope that you find something of value with these shows, whether you're entertained, informed, educated, or passing the time, whatever it is. Something I've said, something I do, the guests, viewers, whatever it is, we're all in this together. Keep spreading the word, keep spreading the lovity, tell everybody about the show, let everybody know about it, share, like, tag, follow, all that cool stuff. That's how it all works. We provide the entertainment, all the cool stuff, and then you guys tell everybody about it. We love that. And some of you are really, really exceptional at doing that. I really appreciate that. Gilligan made the show tonight. That's right. He stormed a wedding. Who knew, right? We learned a lot tonight. Good night, Jim, Lovities, and Gilligan. Full moon tomorrow night. Excited. Uh-oh. Full moon. Wi-Fi. Let's hope the Wi-Fi and the power and everything stays on. Full moon. Hopefully that means a clear signal. All right, gang. That's an official goodbye to everybody on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, watching us right now. Love you all. You take care. We're going to wrap up. We really are going to wrap up. No more comments. So good. We're going to say good night. See you tomorrow. Hope you had fun. I sure did. A lot of levity and lovity. Congratulations once again to Christopher Joseph, viewer of the week. Good night, gang. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll be here. More fun will ensue. Bye-bye. To Renee in the breadbasket. That's right. In Iowa. Good night, gang. Love you. Jennifer, still zen. That's a good thing. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'll be here. Hope you guys are as well. All right. That's a wrap. Ciao. Wiedersehen. Sayonara. Cheers. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Love you. Take care.